You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
The heck is that, Casey Kurtz? Is that Jacksonville?
That's the sky, man. That's cloudy.
What are you talking about? There's obviously a building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it's the clouds.
it's Jacksonville, bro.
It's the
Covered by
clouds.
clouds.
There's obviously a building.
I would
It
say
looks like a
to the right
shark
corner.
fin. I thought we were looking at the ocean.
It may be the ocean. I don't know.
Got to get an 8K, man. Damn, that's what it's looking like today, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. I guess I didn't even really notice.
Yeah.
Must
Giving off those Seattle
Must
vibes.
have been in deep thought.
There you go. Looking like the Pacific
Seriously,
Northwest.
is that like the normal shot over the river? Or is this like a higher shot?
I'm under the impression that is the normal shot.
Really? Wow. That is wild.
Low cloud coverage
Just
today,
curious. Any drones? What's I missed this whole drone thing, by the way. Like,
Brent? Oh, them getting shot down?
or just everywhere, right? It feels like everybody's talking about drones. What I've tried to do, though, is not click on anything on social media.
Sure.
Because then I'm just going to be inundated with drone stuff on my timeline.
Yeah.
And I don't want it.
No, for sure. Did you see the dude that shot down an Amazon drone, which you can't do? I mean, I'm not sure you can really shoot it down on any drones, but it was an Amazon drone that was like hanging above his house, and he shot it down, and that's like,
Is that like a felony?
yeah. So they had to arrest him and everything. It was like this old dude. You
Well,
feel
because,
kind of bad for him.
You can't. I'm assuming you just can't fire a gun like that. Would he shoot it down?
True. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he shot like, I want to say like 3 or 4 rounds at it. I think it was like a 22 or something. But I guess they make the Amazon drones pretty legit because like I think it took like 3 or 4 shots to get it down.
Wow.
Jeff Bezos ain't playing around.
He is not. I've seen some of like the new drone stuff, like the huge.
Do we got him here? Is that like a California thing? I haven't seen a drone yet,
I don't know.
dropping off packages
I
and
can
stuff.
tell you this: I got packages dropped off in my house like on a every 10-minute basis. I
Let's
feel
go.
like so something might be falling out of the sky.
Christmas time, man.
Yeah, like that could be happening. Man, I had somebody out like today's like garbage day in our neighborhood.
Okay, yeah.
And first of all, they never like at least our street hasn't been picked up yet.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that's even normal. Maybe they'll come back. It's so weird when you see the cross because we like our little side street.
Mm-hmm.
You see the main street get picked up and then not.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Ours, right?
there's
It's
like yeah.
We're literally 10 feet apart because
No, for sure.
there's a path. I'd like to see their path actually. Like when I went on the, and I'm not criticizing. I just would like to see like who figured out their route.
Sure.
Like which makes it the smartest, best way to do it, most efficient way to do it. Maybe the Chick-fil-A people helped out.
There you go, man.
I mean, they might have
Props to
helped out.
them.
But anyway, this morning it was like there was like beeping of a horn. Like we thought it was maybe the garbage folks beeping the horn, which we've never heard before.
Yeah,
and then so I'm like, I've got like 4 cars in my driveway right now, and so I have to
Flex.
park in the street.
Brent's flexing.
No, I'm not flexing. My
Flex.
in-laws are here.
So you have some visitors. I thought it meant you had 4 cars by yourself.
Oh,
Okay.
No, my
Flexing.
in-laws, and then Kaylee has a teammate who went away for Christmas break, left their car here.
What are you running a parking garage, Brent?
I'm charging
You gonna-
$500.
I was
for the
gonna
month.
say, what are we doing here, man?
Yeah, you think the HOA was mad
What
before?
is this?
So
What
anyway,
a parking
I got to park outside. I got to park on the street. So I'm like, I wonder if I'm like in the way.
Yeah,
I wonder if
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what they're beeping at.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do. Be like, you're in my way. Beep at 7 in the morning.
Wake the whole neighborhood up.
Yeah. So anyway,
Was that what it was or not? No, you don't.
no idea. No,
Did
they never picked up the trash, so it couldn't have been.
Okay, but did everybody else around you get the trash or not?
Not
yet?
on my
you said.
street.
Okay, not
Yeah,
your street.
I don't know what the
I guess we're about to
beeping was.
find out.
I don't know what the beeping was.
I mean, what happens if you ruin it for
Beeping our horn
everybody?
at 7:15 in the morning.
Yeah, but what happens like, if your negligence ruined the trash pickup for everybody on your street?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't negligent. I learned that I wasn't in the way. Like it was,
Oh, okay.
it definitely could get there.
Okay.
So it wasn't like now the mailbox. If my car stays there, that's a different story.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if
yeah.
I don't get the mail, I know why.
Yeah.
Listen, Nathan Dean, we'll get to Devin Lloyd and company in a minute. We're talking about drones, garbage, and I've got another observation on my walk this morning.
There we go.
I'm back to walking
Yeah.
after a couple of weeks off
Yeah.
of.
Did you just quit golf altogether? Like that's just not a thing anymore,
I
huh?
do not golf. I'm actually working on the Dream 18 card, like as we speak for 2025. I was just kind of talking to myself in here. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do the Dream 18 card, and now I've got like people asking about the Dream 18
Sure.
card, and I'm like, okay, I'll do the Dream 18.
You're not going to use the card, but I'm sure a
I'm
lot
not
of people
doing
out there are going to use it.
And well, we got some golf courses too in the area, like St. John's Golf and Country Club, who's on the card. It's like golf people are never there this year after, like who you call People don't stay in golf for more than like 12 months. And so I can't get in touch with anybody. Yep. And then on top of that, they're shutting down for like 6 months because they're redoing their greens. So it's like, okay, well, does it even make sense that they're on the card if they're going to be out for that long, you know? Anyway, I'm all over the map today. But I have quit golf, essentially.
Okay.
I got one bug to play golf coming back from London because we stayed like right at a golf course and I didn't play. Mm-hmm. And I played that next Tuesday, 9 holes with John Bachman. Mm-hmm. And I think I've played one time since, and that's it. I've hardly played golf. This show has killed my golf game.
Yeah, well, okay, but like let's not make that an excuse though, because
not an excuse. The sun, it's 10-1. It's in the window.
The sun comes up pretty early in the morning, in case you didn't notice. So if you wanted to golf, hey,
my wife is killed the golf game then too.
Okay, well,
if I go for instead of a walk, I go golfing. That's probably not going to help.
Oh, Steph doesn't golf?
She actually does.
Well, there you go.
She did.
Okay.
I can't get her to play.
Yeah.
And
I don't blame you, Steph.
Steph is good.
Yeah.
Like Steph is like the perfect person to bring, first of all, to a scramble.
Okay.
But secondly, to like, hey, I bet Steph can go hit it straighter than you and outdrive you, and she hasn't swung in like 5 years.
Athlete. Yep.
She would just get up on the first tee and just pipe one right down the middle, and she seriously hasn't.
I see you, Steph. Like yep, same.
Or smile. Yeah, I'm not complaining. He's making me complain, all right? I got to hang out with you guys 10-1 every day.
You're saying that the show is killing your golf. I'm
just being real.
There's a 6 to 9 window that I feel like would just.
You can't play golf at 6 o'clock around.
How can't you?
It's too early.
What time do golf courses open up?
About 7:18 is your first tee.
All right, so go and get 9 holes in.
I can get 9. Yeah, I can get 9. You could do that. Maybe I will start to do that.
Hey, man. I can't tell you what to do, Brent.
What else? My other observation was not about golf today. I've got 2 observations. One's a football one.
Okay.
But the other one is on my walk today, I realized like these electric scooters and electric bikes are all over the place as the kids go head to like Creekside High School.
This is correct.
And I'm like, you dudes are too lazy. Like pedal the damn bike. And so I get the next guy comes up and he's pedaling. I'm like, I got respect. Respect for the peddler. I mean,
oh yeah,
these guys too. Like they're good at it, and they fly. I think I told you the story, right?
And stuff.
I told you the story. Like they it's like the number one reason why kids end up in the ER.
Hey man, I told you that.
No, you're the one that told me that.
Hey, I told you that in the show.
Sorry, but I've told news.
That was a thing.
I know. You want credit for it?
Well, yeah. Don't act like you're trying to reveal something to me that I told you.
How am I supposed to remember that?
Brent's like doing a monologue. So have you guys seen this, Austin? Have you heard this? So it's like the number one cause of teenagers going to the emergency room getting X-rays.
You told me that?
Yes.
Why would you have told me that?
Because we had a conversation about it where there's so many of them like on the beach. You know? Yeah. That's okay though, man. You're doing a great job. Keep going.
Well, it helps. I told our news department. I said this is a good sweep story.
All right, let's go and call a timeout from the game. So now you're taking my sources and my information and turning them into news stories without my permission.
Well, I didn't know.
Someone's getting sued.
First of all, I didn't even know who it came from, obviously.
Someone's getting sued.
And secondly, I don't even know if your facts are true. But we're going to find out. We'll send Ben.
Send Ben. There we go. Well, the information came from an X-ray technician that I'm friends with. So
yeah, I think you had said
I don't think they're going to let me, lead me astray.
It's all coming back to me now.
There we go.
My other football observation is yesterday. If you don't play fantasy football or have a wager on the game, those NFL games sucked.
You talking about last night?
Yeah. And by the way, like I've said this a couple times now over the last few weeks, the product is just okay this year. Like it is just okay. It is not the best year of the NFL. But I understand that a lot of people can't. Like, oh, what are you talking about, Brent? I mean, did you see that Bills and Lions game? It helped my fantasy team win. Okay, I get it. But
it's a good game. High scoring.
That was a good one. But it's really good for your fantasy team.
Okay.
Right? Like, again, I would go back to that Buffalo game and say that was never in doubt. Like, did you ever feel like the Lions were winning that game?
I mean, it came down to the wire. Like, yeah, I get like Buffalo
with 12
had the
seconds to go. Like mismanaged clock, by the way, by Dan Campbell the whole time.
No,
down.
I'm saying like throughout the game. Like if we're talking about the third quarter, I'm like, all right, maybe Detroit can get a stop here. They can. I mean, Goff was on fire. So like, yeah, I figured, all right, Detroit gets one stop. They can shut down Josh Allen. They'll tie it up. Yeah, I believed it.
By the way, Dan Campbell did a bunch of goofy things there. right? That 12. I kind of got the onside kick because to me, I
It's
didn't
all
think
part
they
of
were
the Dan
coming.
Campbell experience.
Well,
Brent.
but I didn't think they were coming back. I knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, hey, they were down by 10, I think, at that time. And, of course, they ended up running it back, right? It was Hollins who ran it almost all the way back. And I was thinking, he's saying, you know what? We're going to give up at least 3. So if we give up 3, we either get the ball back. If we can give up 3, it'll be less time off the clock.
Yeah.
And we'll have more time to go, more possessions to go score. And then if we go score once, then we get one stop. Now we got a chance. I actually thought his thinking on the onside kick was not as insane as some of his other moves. And a lot of people are killing him for it because of the result of it. But I actually kind of got that one a little bit, which is weird. What I don't understand is what the hell he was doing with all the timeouts at the end of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I genuinely thought about the fact that he was, if you watch the end of that game, I was like, is he just experimenting for the playoffs and trying to figure out how quick they can get down the field without calling a timeout? Like, is this a practice session? He had 2 timeouts left in that football game, and they onside kicked at 12 seconds. It really didn't make a lot of sense.
Not really. But it's the Dan Campbell experience, man.
If they got the onside kick, which they almost did get that one,
Yes.
they really had time for 2 plays, a quick out and a Hail Mary.
Correct.
But if he had called the timeout earlier in the game, he might have had like 40-something seconds left. And then you go yesterday's game at the end. I mean, Kirk Cousins can't even throw a forward pass right now. And they throw it on 3rd down instead of run the clock down against the anemic Raiders offense.
With all due respect, because I do love Casey pushing the buttons here. Very smooth. Very, very smooth. But I wish Hamby was here right now so I could ask him about Kirk Cousins again. Did you hear what the coach said after?
I did.
Got to play better.
I did.
Going to need him to play like a Falcon, not playing up to the standard right now, Kirk Cousins.
You should say he's got to start playing like a Viking.
That's a good point. Yeah. Kirk Cousins struggling.
Well, did I see the stat right? It's 1 touchdown and 9 picks in the last 5 games for him.
Hate to see it. Yep. Which makes zero sense.
It
because
really does.
You have, I mean, what more do you need from an offensive standpoint? You have the receivers. I thought you had the tight end in Kyle Pitts, but, it's kind of whatever there.
Just a guy.
You have the running game, and you have a decent defense that can kind of have your back a little bit. Like, there's no reason why Kirk Cousins should be playing like this.
And here's the deal about Kirk Cousins' career. We can question whether he can win big games and the whole thing and all that stuff. This has not been a problem. Like, he's been able to put up gaudy numbers in his career. And 1 touchdown and 9 picks, especially with this offense, I don't really get it.
I mean, do you just keep rolling with him just because you're still, well, let's see, you're a game back now of the division. Obviously still in the wild card hunt. Tampa Bay's playing pretty good football. I mean, it's 1 game, but Tampa Bay looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you make a change or do you keep rolling with Kurt?
I think you've got to keep rolling with him. And the reason I say that is because there's a giant unknown with Penix. And I think you built the team, you paid a bunch of money, unless there's some stuff going on in the building and the locker room. We don't know that, right? So if that is the case, then you might have to figure out a change. But I get, if you're right in the mix, to me, it's if you ask the other 45 guys out on the field or take your top 35 guys out on the field and you say, hey, what do you think? Should we go with Penix or should we go with Cousins? And we need to win games. There's 3 left. I still think they're going to go with Cousins. Don't you like to figure it out? Like, how do you know what Penix is going to do? I mean, he might be able to jumpstart you, but he also might not.
No, I mean, it's definitely the unknown, but I'm trying to see who the Falcons are playing. Like, they were lucky last night that they're playing the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Okay, so they have the Giants. Okay, that's a dub. Commanders is going to be tough in Washington. And then you play the Panthers, who are playing a better brand of football. Yeah. So, like, nothing's guaranteed here.
No, not the way they're playing.
Yeah.
But it's also not a hard schedule. Like, you can dial up harder schedules, right? I don't know. It's a weird deal. The other thing I look at playing with those kind of, the games that we watched yesterday, and I'm trying to think of like where I always watch a football now. And all you do is think about, okay, how does this compare to the Jags, or what the Jags are doing? Why is this going on? What's this? Some of it's like you get good breaks. I watch Minnesota, and I feel like they get some pretty good breaks in games, or the stuff that's bad doesn't go as bad, and they're able to correct from. Like, they didn't play great yesterday either, right? I mean, they don't look like yesterday a 12-2 team.
No.
Against a crappy team. I mean, Chicago's bad.
Yeah. But, I mean, and listen, you can break down Chicago and say they played a lot of close games. Their defense is pretty solid. I mean, you can do all these things. And especially when you take on a divisional opponent like you just played them, you play them again. It can always be a second, matchup that's tougher.
But you can also say, like, Minnesota's interesting to me because I think some of their worst football that it looked, at least aesthetically, has been against some of the worst teams. Chicago, the Jags. Mm-hmm. I mean, their season low output is against the Jags. But you say that, and they still won 30-12 yesterday. I mean, Chicago's lost 8 in a row, which is crazy.
By the way, can somebody get Caleb Williams some help? How many times he's put on his back last? Like the guy can't even. Like, and I understand. All right, like he's kind of getting thrown in the fire. There's really no excuses. You have a great. It's kind of like the Kirk Cousins effect. Well, you have a lot of great wide receivers to throw to, right? You got Keenan Allen, who's back 100% now. You got DJ Moore. Obviously, you got Odunze, who's kind of coming into his own a little bit. You got Cole Kmet. Like, there's no excuse why you can't get these guys the ball. But when the ball is snapped and literally there's a guy in your face within a split second, you can't do anything, that's an issue.
Big issue. Yeah. They again, here they go again, right? It looked like they put all the weapons around. They can't get the offensive line around him. It feels a little bit like Joe Burrow early in the career, right? Mm-hmm. Where he just couldn't get anybody to block for him. And even worse. This is even worse. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks come in, and now it happened in Jacksonville quite a bit. Gabbert, team you played on. Mm-hmm. I think Bortles had a lot of this. I think he had like 50-something sacks the one year. And that was even with, if I'm not mistaken, that was like a few games he didn't even play because he didn't start that year. David Carr comes to mind, and now you got that Caleb Williams is doing the same thing, and it's a really hard thing to overcome. It speeds you up so much. You can't trust anything, and I think that's a major problem right now. But what I was getting to on the defensive front, like you take Raheem Morris, he's a defensive guy, mm-hmm. and their defense is good. Mm-hmm. You take even Antonio Pierce, and I think overall their defense has played okay, even though their offense stinks, right? And they're without Max Crosby now and everything else. So you take some, like, can you be who you are as the coach? And this was always a thing I said about Gus Bradley back in the early couple of years of Gus. They waited to fix the defense until the end of his tenure. If you're a defensive guy, be a defensive guy.
Sure.
Right? Like, go make sure that defense is good, and then you build the offense because your MO is defense, mm-hmm. and you're going to make sure you're good. I think you're seeing that right now, and maybe the best example of it is DeMeco Ryans in Houston. The reason why the Houston Texans are going to the playoffs back-to-back years, going to win the South easily, is their defense. Their offense is not good. Like, it really just has not been good. 180 total yards, I think it was, the other day. And that's it. And that's last year it was good. Yep. This year it's not good, but their defense is terrific. Their defense is one of the best in the league. Mm-hmm. The corners are terrific. So I think it goes to show you that it just says a lot that if you're going to be a defensive guy, especially as a head coach, in an offensive world where everybody's trying to get that new shiny toy and that hot shot offensive coordinator, if your defense performs well, keeps you in games, gives you a chance, that's paramount. Yeah. We look at the other side of it here in Jacksonville. It's like, okay, Doug, you're an offensive guy. Where's the offense? Where's the 30 points a game? Where's the 27 points a game? Why can't you score more than 21 points a game? And yeah, the defense stinks too, but mm-hmm. you're not a defensive guy, right? Mm-hmm. So, like the Jags' record this year, if they had a defensive head coach, would be, I think, better.
Okay.
Is my point.
Yeah,
If they had Raheem Morris, who I think is just an okay coach, if he brings that defense to Jacksonville, or DeMeco Ryans, that defense to Jacksonville, I think even with their pedestrian offense and the problems they've had on offense, and now the injuries they've had on offense, my guess is their record is a lot better because they're in games and they have a chance to win games because of the defense. I just did this yesterday, right? There were 6 games so far that the defense had a chance to close the door and help win a football game this year for the Jags. They were 1-5 in those games because their defense just isn't any good.
So you think if you bring the Falcons' defense to Jacksonville, it'd be better? Or just like the Raheem Morris
I mean,
part?
I think the Raheem Morris part.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, it's not like, I think in terms of talent, like, yeah, the Falcons, I mean, I feel like we still have 2 certified bookends.
Yeah, no, I think Raheem Morris.
I got you, okay. His philosophy, I got you.
I just said this about, like, the Gators. If you look at the Gators over the last decade, and obviously they want high-flying offense and score and stuff, but they can't get the quarterbacks until now. Maybe they got DJ Lagway, could be the key. But even the last couple of years when the Gator fan was getting just out of their mind a lot of it was because they're giving up like 650 yards a game.
Yeah.
It was like, where is the defense? Like, you should always have defensive players. Or when Muschamp was the guy, when he went 11-2, and even when he was struggling, their defense performed well. What drove people nuts was their offense. You take Kirby Smart, right? Kirby Smart's a defensive guy. So that defense is always going to be pretty good. Now, can you go get the quarterback and the offense to go compete? But the defense is always going to be right there because he's a defensive guy. It's just one of those things about having that defensive head coach. We talk culture, but I think most of the time, if you're a defensive head coach, if you go around the league, your defense is going to perform at least on an average basis, even if you're not loaded with talent. They're going to figure that part out. And you've said it before, right? You can. I don't think the talent was insane when in 2011, 12, 13, around these times when the Jags were struggling, but the defense was pretty good. Like, I don't know if the talent was off the charts. I mean, you guys had good players, but it wasn't off the charts. But I think you can coach that part up. You can try hard. You can do some things defensively to kind of make you in the middle of the pack, which also is very shocking that Ryan Nielsen can't do that right now with this defense because they got way better players than their performance has been. Like, on paper, their players are so much better than being last in the league in all these categories. And that's why it has to go back to Nielsen at some point. That this is because I think you could take a collection of talent that is less and be better than they've been.
Agreed.
And again, how many times have we said this year, if the Jags were just an average defense, you don't do top 8, top 12, just average. Just be like in the 15 to 20 category. How many games are they winning? They're probably in the mix and not mathematically eliminated at this point. So that's it doesn't make it fun all the time. Yeah. Like, the Atlanta Falcons aren't a fun team to watch.
No, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I maybe watched 2, and I could have like split screen with those 2 games last night. I may have watched like 2 minutes. It was even bugging up my split screen. Just showing the Vikings game. And Mr. Hugo's saying that, we lost the comment, sorry, but it was saying how the Vikings usually historically lose that game. Listen, I feel like the Vikings are the most, I don't know why they're so slept on, and I don't know why nobody talks about them.
I do. I've been sleeping on
them. I know. Yeah, but I'm saying everyone is sleeping on them. Like, everyone talks about the Lions. Everyone talks about the Packers. And, like, the Vikings are almost an afterthought. And I don't really get why. Because they have a solid defense. Yeah, obviously it funnels to the pass. But, like, what was DeAndre Swift doing last night? Not too much. Couldn't really run the ball on Minnesota. And then, obviously the funnel defense or whatever. But Addison, when you need him, he's there. Hawkinson, back healthy, he's there. Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in the league, you got him. Like, I don't know what more you got to see him. By the way, Aaron Jones, too. Like, if you want to pound the rock, which they're trying to do last night, if you want to get him involved in the pass game, they have running backs that can do that as well, and Cam Akers is kind of Cam Akers. But nevertheless, like, it's a pretty solid team. And I get no idea why they get 0 love, because they really dominated the Bears last night.
Yeah, they're a good team. I mean, they're getting more love in my mind now. I mean, I just think they know how to win. To Mr. Hugo's point, yeah, they're doing it. They have like a winning formula. They feel good. I listen to all these post game things, and I think it was Aaron Jones yesterday. He's like, "Wow, we just believe. We got guys that believe." I'm like, "Okay, so is that it? It's like the Jags just don't have guys that believe. Like, is that how you win close games? Like, I don't. Maybe." Like, maybe there's just not enough belief. Like, what does that mean? That's like kind of that's like an intangible that is hard to kind of just say, oh, that's why you don't believe, Yeah. But I get like that's a culture-y kind of thing. That's a feel. Does O'Connell exude that kind of confidence in people? We talked about how he does pump up the quarterback, right? What he's done for Sam Darnold. So there is some of that. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that's Doug. Is that Doug not doing enough to say, hey, nice job. Is he doing too much to be like, all right, we ain't good enough? Like, what a team meeting's like, we're not good enough here, not good enough here, not good enough here. Do you get to the point if you do that so much that you don't believe that you're good enough?
Do they pay and re-sign Sam Darnold, or do they let him walk? Because, like, and Casey, this is your dude, so feel free to chime in here. Because, like, to me, is Sam Darnold like the Jared Goff was with L.A. and the Rams, where it's just like, yeah, you're a good quarterback, but you're really a product of the system? Or is Sam Darnold like, hey, man, this guy's elevated our team. He's elevated the players around him. We'd be dumb to let him go. Yeah, we put a lot of capital into J.J. McCarthy, but you know what? Let's go ahead and re-sign Sam Darnold.
if I'm Minnesota right now, the way this thing is going, and we'll see where it goes, but I ain't changing the damn thing. I'm trying to get him back here for another year. And I don't know what that looks like long term. I just would. How old is Sam Darnold again? It's 27? I think he's 27. Casey, did you keep that Jets jersey?
It's in my car as we speak.
That might be worth something.
Bring it out, man.
He's 27, yeah.
Is that worth something now? The Jets jersey?
No, he's good on the Vikings. I don't know if you've heard about the Jets.
Oh, that doesn't make everything go up?
I doubt it.
No, that's not how that works at all. Actually.
Really?
Oh, I don't know, Brett. Do you want to get a game-used, authentic, Emmitt Smith Cardinals jersey?
I mean, it's just part of the collection.
I don't know.
I don't think the Evan Ingram Giants jerseys are popping.
Dude, let me get one of those Jerry Rice Seahawks jerseys, though. Let's see what those are talking about.
The Raiders are okay, though?
Probably a little better. The Seahawks just didn't look right, Brent. It was the green.
But he's 27 years old, and what I always say about a 27, 28-year-old quarterback is that's like, man, you're prime time. Now you got through the mud, even if it was a good quarterback. Like, you're going to get the game slowing down. You're going to get all that stuff. Like,
sure.
Why would you not take advantage of that? Now, what you're going to do is also pay money. But I actually think they're pretty good on the cap. They got rid of guys like Donnell Hunter and other guys from a cap purpose standpoint. So I don't know where they're at. But I would probably, depending on how this goes and where this goes, I ain't going to the rookie. It doesn't mean I'm not trading. It doesn't mean I'm trading the rookie. But all you have to do is look in the division and you say, well, you know what? They sat Jordan Love down for like 4 years, and they dealt with that. I mean, Can we go deal with this? And we got another guy when we needed, just in case this was a one-year wonder. But it's worth the investment to be like, I think you could hear Darnold. He likes the organization. He seems to love the organization, loves where he's at. Would he sign for a reasonable deal? I don't think anybody's going to sign him to like a 5-year, $250 million deal off this year. Like, that ain't happening.
But when they asked him, he's like, yeah, I mean, there's really been nothing. So he has no idea.
Oh, there's been no.
Which I'm kind of, I don't know.
Well, he's not going to say that. I don't think that's. I don't think you get a quarterback talking about. I mean, it's probably all agent-driven stuff at this point.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, if you would have heard, like, I don't know, maybe you're just trying to play it, a certain way. But I feel like if there's conversations, well, how could there? Casey, let me ask you this: do you think he's actually elevating, everyone around him, or is this a product of being in a system that, just like Sean McVay? I mean, this is essentially what is going on right now in Los Angeles, and we'll see what went on in Los Angeles, and we'll see what happens with Minnesota. If they can make a playoff run, but like Jared Goff goes to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff, in 2020, goes 10-6, second in the division. Pretty decent season, and they trade him away and said, yeah, we can do better. Yeah, Goff, like you helped us out, but let's go in a different direction. Like, do they do that with the Vikings, or is it just like Sam Darnold's our guy?
Nah, bro's cooking.
I know he's cooking, but is he cooking because he's actually a great quarterback, or is he cooking because, well, O'Connell's got him playing at a really high level?
60-40 probably coaching and wide receivers, but that don't matter. Like, they're on the team. The receivers are locked in.
But
the
Casey,
coach is locked in.
But it mattered in Los Angeles. It mattered with Jared Goff.
Right, but this is like Jared Goff going to Detroit, in my opinion.
No, I know. And hindsight's 2020. Jared Goff ended up being a damn good quarterback.
Well, that's what I mean.
So I get that.
I mean, he's actually getting better now. I mean, did McVay do enough with him? This could be a question.
Yeah, but they also got Stafford won a Super Bowl. So
fair.
I mean, I'm not going to hate on that.
If you take the Lions out of the conversation, are the Vikings the best team in the NFC?
I mean, I think it's between them and the Eagles.
Like, they've been extremely overshadowed by what the Lions have done. Like, you're not going to J.J. McCarthy after this. Like, this is a team that could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I think, too. I mean, I just think, listen, they are not as sexy as the Lions, right? They don't score 1 million points, and the Eagles even can do some things that they feel like are overpowering. I don't know if Minnesota feels overpowering, but they obviously have been very good on defense all year, and they got the best receiver in the game. They can be explosive, and this guy's playing well. I mean, that throw he made down to the 2-yard line yesterday to Jefferson. Did you remember that one?
Yeah,
I mean, oof.
I mean,
that showed off the talent, right? This isn't just a guy that's playing better, being managed. Yeah. I think there was a big element of that. Like, I don't think you saw those throws with Goff when he was with the Rams. I don't remember seeing. I didn't watch every game, but I don't remember seeing a lot of whoa. Like the Darnold throw there was a whoa throw. Like that's why people were raving about his talent when he came into the league.
Yeah.
And that showcases talent. Now they're tapped into that. Now his psyche's in the right spot, the mentality, all this stuff. Like it's all coming together. Much like Baker Mayfield. We're seeing his talent. Look at Liam Cohen and what he's untapped. And actually even before that, was it Leftwich that untapped that? Or was with Brady? Whoever did it last year. Canales maybe. So like they're untapping that. So he's in a great situation. And to be honest with you, if I'm Darnold, I don't want to leave because I know I'm in a good situation. This guy's getting great play out of me.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm the Vikings, I'm like, I'm not messing this up. We're going to keep rolling because our guy's coming off injury. We have no idea if he's really that good anyway. It's a 50-50 proposition anytime you draft a young quarterback. And what the hell's the problem if we keep him? He's on a rookie deal. He's not costing us a ton of money by NFL standards. Mm-hmm. Let's just keep this thing rolling. And if it fizzles out, we got a guy. And if we keep riding high, we're riding high and nobody's complaining.
Yeah.
Win-win.
No, it's definitely a win-win.
Other than for J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
But
well, and you mentioned the Lions too. So like obviously I'm not sure what the tiebreakers look like. I have to go check like who won and everything, but they're atop the division. So you have the Eagles who are 12-2, Lions are 12-2, Vikings are 12-2. Let's look at the Lions and the Vikings. Quarterback, you're taking the Lions, yeah? Casey, yeah, Jared Goff's better. Let's be honest.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Skill positions. Let's say wide receivers. Who are you taking? Minnesota. Tight ends. Who are you taking this year? I think it's comparable this year, but
give me Josh Oliver and the boys.
I mean, yet too dependable. I mean, probably take Laporta though, right? Or is it? You want to say a tie?
I think it's kind of a tie.
Okay. Offensive line, you're going obviously Lions. Okay.
Best in the game, maybe.
Yep. Running game. Now with Montgomery out.
Montgomery now goes out. So, and I tell you what, Aaron Jones looked explosive to me last night.
He's pretty good. So who are you taking?
Good.
I mean, comparable again, or you want to?
I would probably say it's the
Vikings.
You pick yours, I'll pick mine. Right?
Okay. We've yet to see Gibbs, by the way, without another option.
That's
okay.
True.
And then the last question: which defense you taking?
Minnesota.
So then, hey,
there we go.
Maybe we should be talking about him a lot more then, I guess.
Yeah, and two good.
I mean, but you know what? Coaching though, I'm taking Dan Campbell.
Yeah, you might, but well, I don't know. I mean, make some questionable calls like culture. We like Dan Campbell from a culture standpoint. We don't know from a game management standpoint.
See, this is almost like both sides of the coin here. You have Dan Campbell, where it's like you feel he's going to will you to wins, and then you have O'Connell, who's like. He's gonna like come up with a game plan to get you to wins. Yeah, so I guess like it's like whatever suits you better.
Yeah, here's the other thing about both guys. Like the home field in this one really matters because both are fantastic.
Yeah,
like I think it swings in a game that we just went. Hey, that you like this, you like that. We like this, we like that. You can pick your poison. That home field is a big one here because both places are loud.
Sure.
And I think kind of tough to play.
But I think being indoors helps them out. Like if it goes through Philly, I think that helps Philly out.
Oh no, yeah, Philly would different story. But if the Lions and Vikings matched up in the playoffs somehow.
Gotcha.
Whoever is the home team probably is the difference maker in all of this.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
So that's why this record matters. That's why these last couple of games matter. Mm-hmm. And the other thing about the Lions now, I mean, we said this a bit yesterday, but I mean now they lose Montgomery and McNeil, like out for the year. Those guys.
Montgomery was huge.
Have the wheels fallen off? I mean, I think McNeil's huge.
Yeah.
But
like Montgomery, even more than like, I mean, Gibbs is a great running back in his own right, but like, Montgomery was kind of like the heart and soul.
Yeah.
I feel like of that team.
Did you see his over under for the year? 775.5.
Unbelievable.
Do you know what he has?
Just guess.
775.
You hate it. You absolutely hate it.
Brutal.
It's unbelievable.
Vegas is just like, hey, let's go ahead and yeah.
And so you know what? I'd be doing? I'd be going and calculating every yard that guy ran and say, I'm petitioning.
I think he fell forward here for a little more.
Yeah. I don't get how do they? Is it like an analytical system, or is it just like guys like that watched a lot of football, just like, hey, this is the number?
It's got to be computer.
It's right.
Well,
it's very rarely like way wrong.
Yeah.
What,
I mean,
what do you mean? Like in terms of
prop.
setting.
Yeah, for instance, because like Garrett Wilson on Sunday, I think his over and under was I think it was like 58 or something, and I think Garrett Wilson had 57 and a half or something. Not like I put any money on it. Not like I totally crushed my parlay or anything. Not like I had a 4-player parlay in that game and just needed Garrett Wilson to get one more catch. Not like that happened or anything.
It is amazing,
Casey,
man.
you have no idea.
But I do think
Adam just gets open for an 80-yard touchdown. Oh,
but I think we only talk about when it's close like this, right? I don't think we necessarily talk about when they obliterate them. Like for example, Montgomery was about to. I mean, that wasn't even close. If he stays healthy for 3 more games, he's got like almost 1,000 yards, right?
More, yeah.
So I think we only see it in times like this or when you lose, right? But you're not counting the 3 other legs of that parlay where you weren't handily, you weren't praising Vegas. I'm
sure people are begging him like, hey, man, I know you're probably up for the season, but go ahead and suit up and just fall forward for a couple yards and help us out.
It was a long time ago, and I feel like it was a 60-minute story. If you ever want to go back and find out when it might have been like a decade ago now, that they did a story on Vegas and the odds making and who does it. And it was a fascinating story, like all the different analytics and algorithms and charts and all this stuff that they do. Because we always say this, how good they are at it. Like, how do they know? And I'm sure there's probably a new story since that. I just remember that. I feel like it was a 60-minute story. Like, how do these guys get this right? Or how are they so good at it and so close at it and just stuff that doesn't make sense sometimes. I mean, it plays with your emotion too, because you're like, all right, this one doesn't make sense. I'm going over here. So they know something, right?
Yeah,
that's how much respect they've got.
This is like probably like 6-7 years ago. You can call them handicappers, right? Guys that set the lines. Yeah. So there was a UFC fighter out of Canada that hired a handicapper, an MMA handicapper, to like kind of give him information of why the odds were the way they were for his fight and like what he can do to improve his game plan on his opponent, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not sure how much he paid. I'm not sure. I mean,
did it work?
He did win. I think it was like a boring decision. I think it was the guy's name was Olivier Byrne Mercier or whatever. He fought like out of GSP's camp, George St. Pierre. But I think he was like the only guy that ever did that. But interesting.
And this guy's been an interesting tactic.
But then, if you're an NFL team, could you do that?
Be like, wild. Hey, like what do you see, right? Like what do you see? Why do you see this? That's kind of fascinating.
Brent, do we take this to Tony Khan immediately?
Add to the analytic group.
Let's go. Like real analytics. I mean, not saying real. I mean, yeah, all analytics are real, but I'm saying like analytics are going to like make a difference. Like, hey, go to a handicapper, pay him a couple money, and say, why are we, 8-point underdogs against the Raiders?
Well, that's going to be here's the deal. Like the
because you guys aren't that good.
Actually, 1-point underdog.
Right? Oh, okay. Hey, it's a pick 'em.
Wait, they're dogs?
Well, they were going into the week. I don't know what happened since last night.
Have you seen the Raiders play?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Casey, I mean,
Desmond Ridder.
How about like Carter Bradley, Gus's son, almost got in there.
Oh, I didn't even know.
That's Gus's son who played at Providence.
Yeah.
He made the active roster because they're so banged up.
Yeah,
and he almost got in there.
He will get in. It's Ridder.
Wait, so we're gonna get Bradley versus Mac Jones battle of Jacksonville?
We might.
Man, is Jacksonville just the hot spot for quarterback play?
All right, so the line has moved. Maybe I was wrong but no, I think I saw it right. Yes, last Sunday night when the lines came out, it was 1 point for the Raiders. It's moved to Jacksonville by 1.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, which I kind of feel like. Don't you kind of feel like the Jags are going to beat them? Jags are a lot better than them, I think.
I hope so, Brent. I hope so.
How can I just say that with a straight face? The Jags are a lot better than anybody. Like, what am I doing? Okay, let's take a timeout. Brent Austen Show here on a Tuesday. Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. We'll get to some of the comments, by the way. And hey, don't forget our show after the game. We got some new episodes rolling out in January, but you can still see some. We've got it on the podcast as well. So 15 episodes up on the podcast. You can check that out on Apple and Spotify. You can listen to the show each and every day. This show right here at 1:30 in your car, on your ride home, on your workout, whatever you want. Podcast goes up at 1:30. But after the game today, 2 o'clock, another edition presented by Baker Sports and High School 912. It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. a full menu, made from scratch meals. And if you need Spring Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Building off a summer of terrific action at Southern Oaks Stadium, the Jacksonville Armada are looking forward to the future and the return of pro soccer in Northeast Florida. Season ticket reservations for MLS Next Pro are underway, and for just $100, you can lock in some great benefits when it comes to supporting the boys in blue. Those who make a reservation will have first selection options in the new Armada Stadium out east near Jacksonville's downtown sporting complex, as well as access to supporter VIP events like stadium tours, open training sessions, and future meet and greets with players and coaches. You can make your season ticket reservations at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket. And while you're there, read the very latest on the Armada men's and women's teams in action this summer. Show your commitment to the fleet with an MLS Next Pro season ticket reservation at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Right now, save 10% off a new Rinnai tankless water heater. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Here on Spring Sports Media Day on Action Sports Jax.
It's an opportunity, an education beyond the classroom and the sports arena. Life skills, testing skills, social skills. It's called High School 912, a program focused on maximizing the growth of students in academics, sports, and life. And here's your chance to get involved. If you're a local business, or if you just want to make a donation to help support programs like ACT and SAT boot camps, career days, Leadership Academy, Financial Literacy Academy, and so much more.
Another Nice High School Panther, Jack Cole.
High School 912 supports and hosts high school sporting events and several media days throughout the year. For more information on how you can get involved, visit jaxhighschool912.com.
Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years, and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices her pitching. Yeah! Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports. From Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show. Streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, there's a lineup, Miller and Moulton, the rest of the week. Those guys will take off Christmas Day, but they'll be around next week as well. And then I'm assuming they're going to be off New Year's Day. I haven't checked with them on that. Same goes for Young and Norvell. They're working harder than us, quite frankly, because next week we're working Monday only.
Yep, so, see ya.
We're out. You're going to Wisconsin.
I am.
And I think everybody could use a break.
Yeah. It's been one of those seasons, Brent.
Isn't it feel like I've kind of, even right now, I think we have reached the point where we're just waiting. Like we've had storylines. There's been so much. The one thing about this year with the Jags is it's been miserable, but it's almost been entertainingly miserable. Like we've had all these different storylines, and I feel like Sunday against the Jets was the first time where it just like, okay, it was just like another loss in a bad season.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of anything to it. There wasn't. But the week prior, or a couple weeks prior, was Houston, right? And you got the whole Shire stuff that was like a week-long topic, kind of still is a topic in some respects. You get the win over Tennessee finally last week. But prior to that, it's Doug and being whatever. And I mean, just all this stuff this year. I go back to London and Andre Sisco's comments. So there's just always been something. And now for the first time really coming off this game in particular for me, I feel like, all right, everybody's just, the countdown is on. The countdown is on to now 20 days left until Black Monday. And we're just waiting to see what happens. And people are either going to be like, all right, now who are they hiring? Or people are going to be like, what the
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's gonna be a memorable Monday. I can tell you this.
I mean, here's the thing, Brent. So what? It took us 15 weeks, and listen, we still have a couple days left, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But it took us 15 weeks. I think we may have lost in peace here. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
That's actually a good call.
Still a couple days. Someone could fire off a tweet. Somebody could, fire off or like an Instagram post. Still a couple days left. Somebody could flake out on Brent's show. We'll see. But right now, where it sits, we may have finally gone a loss in peace. And man, Brent, it feels good.
It does feel good.
Feels great. Yeah. Because this team, do you know what gallows humor is? You ever heard that term? So, like back in the day, and I said the day, like medieval times in the gallows, they would, hang people and stuff. And people would they would have like gestures and stuff because, well, it was so gruesome and gnarly, like where you had to like crack jokes just to kind of get through it. That's what I've been doing this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars have given me gallows humor where it's like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad and it's really disappointing, but here, let's laugh at a press conference, or hey, let's go ahead and laugh at Mac Jones' turtleneck. That's what I'm resorting to because the truth is just it's way too sad.
It is there's a lot of truisms in that, right? There's a lot of truth. And
and by the way, too, the old school jerseys once again.
Yeah, great.
Look great, man.
Yeah, I mean, they look good.
If you're gonna lose, losing those.
Yeah. There was a lot to like about Sunday's loss. The offense, the jerseys.
Yeah.
Just not the finish. And for some people, they like the finish too. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz here on a Tuesday on the Brent Austen Show, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. We had a comment from Nathan Dean early on about Devin Lloyd. And he Devin Lloyd's got to be gone is the thing. And he said, right. And I would say, I don't think he's gone. I mean, he's under contract next year. I don't think they're just going to cut ties with him. Last time they cut ties with a linebacker, he became an all-pro. Quincy Williams. But he does bring up a point to me that I kind of said to you guys today, just thinking about the show. And what kind of tough decisions do the Jags have on their roster? Because there are decisions that are like, okay, you might think they're tough, but the contract kind of says, that's not really that tough. I would say this with Gabe Davis. All right, do they give Gabe Davis another world? Do they, people say, do you eat the contract? You're not eating the contract. You're not just going to
How much would you eat?
Well, I mean, I'd have to start looking around at these contracts, but
yeah,
it just... People don't just eat contracts unless there's a good reason to eat the contract. They don't dislike Gabe Davis the way you do the fan. You got nothing out of Gabe Davis. He was dropping passes early. He never did anything.
Yeah.
You think he's overpaid. But they just say, hey, he's battling injuries a bunch all year, never really fully could get right. We're going to give him another year in this system. We think he's going to be much better for us next year.
But, Brent, you say they. What happens if they isn't here next year? What happens if it's new regime where it's they turn on the film and it's I'll be honest, we don't really need, to.
Yeah, but the first thing coming in here is a GM, even if you're a new GM, isn't okay, let's swallow up all this dead money.
No, I hear you.
You got to take you're going to have to, whatever you inherit, you're going to have to deal with it for a little bit. Not whatever. That's kind of the point of this, is what kind of conversations can you have.
I'm just saying, though, and I'm not
Gabe
saying
Davis'
it was
dead money is $20 million.
Yeah, so you're not like he's here next year, right, Casey? I mean, that's the point.
Well, do you try to trade him?
Okay, for what? A bag of nickels
I
now?
mean, what did they trade Jerry Jeudy for?
Bag of nickels.
Okay.
I mean,
listen, like Sean Payton came in and said, Jerry Jeudy, you ain't going to be here. And like much to the chagrin, I think, of a lot of Broncos fans, but
I feel like you could, but that's the thing. I feel like you could convince somebody on Jerry Jeudy, and it wasn't that tough. He's fast.
Gabe Davis is pretty fast, I feel like.
We haven't seen full potential from him. He could be a 1. He can run route.
And it was Cleveland.
It was Cleveland.
Like, what are you selling on Gabe Davis coming off this year?
He's okay. Well, not. He's fast.
Yeah. I mean,
please take him. Like,
okay, and here's the other part.
Please do us a solid. Yeah.
We need help with the Jags. Like,
I think for this exercise too, like it's hard to predict trades. First of all, not a lot of them happen, but it's hard to predict trades. Like, you're basically saying, if anybody suggests a trade right now, you're saying, please take this salary off for the guy that's not playing as good as we want him to.
Sure.
Well, that's not really a great trade candidate. Now, if you trade Christian Kirk, because, hey, that salary ain't that bad for today's receiver. He can fit into your system like this and give you this. We're going to get younger at that spot. To me, that's more the point of this is like, hey, that's a tough decision to make. Do you want to do that?
But how do you justify that when a guy hasn't played a full season in a couple years now?
But he's got he's definitely got more value than Gabe Davis to me.
I would say so, but I mean, age is a thing, and also injury. Okay.
I mean, age really isn't a thing for him.
Okay.
And it's like, he can be an 80 catch guy at $17 million, where Gabe Davis is like a 47 catch guy at $13 million.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I get you again.
Well, I mean,
I think that's why trades are hard to.
He's had one 80 catch season his entire career.
Yeah, I mean, but you can project like, hey, if he does stay healthy,
sure,
right? He was going to have 2 more. Listen, that's why I think the trades are hard to project. But I also think like he's definitely more of a trade candidate than like a guy like Gabe Davis.
Okay.
Because like, if you're a buyer, would you trade any kind of whatever for Gabe Davis or for Kirk?
Ooh,
no, Gabe Davis is young.
Gabe Davis is making
25-year-old.
In terms of contracts, is Gabe Davis making more than Christian Kirk?
No, he's less. He's
how much less?
13 a year versus like 17 a year. If you do the,
I mean, honest.
Deal. Next year now might be a little bit different.
Davis's cap number next year is only 6. His dead cap is 20, but his real cap hit is 6, according to Spotrac,
which isn't that bad, obviously.
So Kirk's cap hit next year is 24.
Yep. So I'd probably consider Gabe Davis.
Yeah. Well, see, what I think they're going to end up trying to do with Kirk is restructuring. And they've done a ton of restructuring. Now, again, that's this regime. But I think they'll try to restructure with Kirk because of that hit and everything else. Do you have Kirk still up? Like, what's his dead cap? What if you just cut him?
Yeah, it is 13.5.
I can maybe you do so that's the deal. That's what I'm asking. Like, again, and a lot of these salaries and dead caps and everything else come into play in this conversation. But like, I think we did this last week on the show. If you can only keep one, what's Kirk or Ingram? Like, which one? Tough decision. I think that's a hard decision if you put it that way.
I think Ingram, but that was
also, by the way, Jeudy was Kirk? A 5th and a 6th.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Casey, what would you do? Because we asked Hamby this question.
I'd keep Ingram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really hard call. Really hard call who to keep. And I mean, it was so hard that I think I'd give away both my kids to keep them both. I think that's what we got to.
That's foul.
Foul.
It ain't that serious stuff. It is not that serious.
I mean, I think if it was like Justin Jefferson, then sure. Like, let's talk about kids. We'll see you guys later. But I mean, come on, man.
I think we got to the point where it was like picking between Ty and Kaylee. So I was like, all right, well, they're both gone. So these guys are staying.
Yeah.
And by the way, at this time, if it was to like win big, I think Ty would go for it. He'd be okay with it. Kaylee, not so sure. She probably doesn't care. Steve Clinkscale, special teams. You want to know something, Bradley, about Steve Clinkscale? Bradley just mentioned this like Kyle Shanahan to Josh McCown, to Steve Klink. He's putting together the Jags team here.
Sure.
I don't think Shanahan's going anywhere, but I guess there's some conversation that he could. Steve Klinkscale went to Ashland University.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. I don't know who Steve Klinkscale is.
Not a clue.
He was a cornerback for the Ashland University Eagles back when Brent Martineau was there as well. We were in the same class.
Steve Klinkscale is a defensive backs coach, yes, with the Chargers.
Yeah, and he's moved his way up in the NFL.
He's at Michigan, too, I think.
Go to his Wikipedia.
Maybe with Harbaugh?
Austin, go to his Wikipedia. He's in the running for worst Wikipedia photo of all time.
Is he?
It's blurry. Man. It's poorly cropped.
It does say Ash. I got the right guy.
What
right?
are we doing?
You see that?
This, I mean, hey,
this is Ashland, yeah.
This is analog here. This is like your old school MySpace profile pictures back when you were in high school.
That's rough.
Man.
But yeah, Ashland.
This the guy, though, huh?
It's a pretty incredible climb. Like, I didn't know he was not sure if he's being considered for DC. I knew he was making his way through the league.
It's one heck of a climb.
It's a really good climb.
Ashland, Western Carolina, Toledo, Illinois,
Man.
Kentucky, Michigan, Chargers.
And he was a cornerback for the Eagles like in 97, 98.
Finally got to that West Coast.
And,
good for you.
Hey, if he continues to climb, Klinkscale and Matt LaFleur came through old Ashland, Ohio, just to let you know. Just to let you know.
Sign me up for that.
All right, hey, let's get on time with a break here.
How did Cole Kmet do last night?
Does he play still?
Isn't he? He's from Ashland, right? Isn't that your Ashland dude?
No. You're talking about.
No, Cole Kmet was Notre Dame.
Who's the Ashland dude from?
Shaheen.
Chicago. Was he in Chicago?
Shaheen, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he was with the Dolphins, Chicago and the Dolphins, I think.
Oh, sorry.
He's out of the league.
Oh, okay.
By the way, Cole Kmet had one catch.
Hey, I'm not gonna. Thank God. I'm not gonna lie. I had an opportunity. So this is where my mind went. I forgot. I think the prop on Cole Kmet was like over 2.5 catches, and I go, I'm not gonna support an Ashland guy. Forget it. But I forgot he actually went to Notre Dame. But thankfully Ashland helped me out there because I didn't put any money on that one.
Yes. So we in a roundabout way helped you out.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Hey, Jarvis Pendleton. I mean.
Oh,
Ashland ties run deep, in the NFL, which is crazy because when I was there, their football was not that good. Like when Klinkscale played, they weren't that good. They really weren't. So let's get on time. We'll come back. On the other side, seriously, think about this. We just mentioned a couple players. I was actually thinking more on the defensive side. Like Nathan brought up Devin Lloyd to get us on this topic. But what tough decisions? Like we had Foye Oluokun on the show last night at Jags Report Live at String Sports Brewery. Is he a tough decision? I mean, they just redid his deal, so does that mean you're locked into that? Is he a tradable candidate where you could get cheaper at that position? These are the kind of things, right? Like, where are the Jags like pot committed and have no wiggle room, and where do they have room to say, all right, we kind of think this player might be good, but he just hasn't been good enough, so we're moving on, and we're going to upgrade. And that's really the tough decisions, whether it's this regime. I know many people say, what? Or it's a new regime. And this is the conversation we had a little bit over Walker Little. It's like, why did Walker Little get extended? Because I think a lot of people would have said, I think we can do a little bit better here. And then some have been like, hey, this is pretty good. Let's sign him. But I think you have a lot of those. When you're coming off a year like this and you have a lot of disappointment, I think you have a lot of guys on this roster right now that are like that. We're like, hey, I like this guy, or we can do better than this guy, or we're, committed to this guy, so we got to have him. Where are the Jags on their roster right now as you look into 2025? Talk a little bit about it when we come back as we try to play GM. Did you see Jadon Mickens wants to be the GM of the Jags? I woke up to that today. So come on down, Jadon. UNF Ospreys have a game day today up in UNC Asheville, one of those rare home and homes in the middle of a season with a non-conference. And they lost to UNC Asheville here in Jacksonville. Can they go up to Asheville and get a non-conference win as the conference season is just around the corner and the Ospreys are 7-4. We'll have highlights of that one tonight on CBS 47 and Fox 30. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder-grade materials. And there's more, and for that, we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game, too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside Game Day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Josh Allen. What am I looking at?
What do you mean, what are you looking at?
Color uniform things?
Yeah! Are those not clean?
I just...
Stuff you guys care about.
Look at that.
I thought this was like, see that little corner like up above the football? Huh. I thought you were showing me like a card that's worth like a lot of money or something.
Brent,
what?
Are you not on board with the red?
Yeah, they're fine. They look like the Patriots, to be honest with you. From Tony Eason days when he went to the Super Bowl.
What are you talking?
Man,
they look exactly like the New England Patriots, just a different logo on the helmet.
Yeah, but it's swag.
It's a different logo on the helmet. It's the New England Patriots from 1986.
This is blasphemy.
Go look it up,
Brent. Okay, we had to sift through the stupid Giants jerseys this year, the throwbacks. All right, we've had to sift through some crap, and it's nice to see just a nice looking uniform.
Unbelievable.
It is clean.
It's on point.
This guy's dominating the league, and they gave him the cleanest uniforms of the year.
I know. It's not fair. It's not fair, Casey.
There's no scenario where he doesn't have 6 total touchdowns and pretty much lock up the MVP.
Look good, play good, feel good. Do we like the Minnesota Viking stuff last night, the all whites?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty clean. I wasn't mad about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What did you say, Brent?
I said they were good.
Oh, you started to make a face a little bit. I thought you were going to...
Brent doesn't like talking about the uniforms, man.
No, I'm well aware. That's why I did it. Also, you didn't give me any bump shots, so I'm just pulling.
I like it. I like it.
Next up, I've got Offset talking about some shoes, so we'll see that when we go to the next break.
Yeah, Tony Eason comment. We got that in there. That's pretty good. Back in '86. Both Pat the Patriot looks better than Buffalo the Bill, or Bill the Buffalo.
Pat the Patriot? He's got a big old chin on him, doesn't he? It's kind of unsettling.
Well, he does on the mascot, but the actual old logo is.
I got
the 3-point stance guy.
They should. I don't know, and I think we've talked about this before a little bit. But what is it though, where all of a sudden, like all the throwbacks, like even the Seahawks looks clean. Like even like the Eagles, Kelly Green, the Kelly Green. I like that.
Yeah,
like I'm starting to like all the throwback ones. The Oilers.
We're in cyclical time.
Yeah, I guess
we're just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like the Raptors. I mean, because were you here for the show when we talked about the Raptors court? They made like the old school logo with the Raptor.
No, that was me.
Yeah, Casey. Sorry.
I saw the court.
Yeah, with like the Raptor doing like the Vince Carter between the legs.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I feel like we said this at one point, but what's the time frame between like things becoming cyclical? So, like the Patriots got new uniforms in the late 90s. I think that's when they did their whole logo change and everything else. And everybody's like, oh, that's cool, right? And it almost feels like it took until, I don't know, 18, 19, 20, so 20 years later for them to go back to the throwback stuff and people like, that's awesome.
It's about 20 years.
Right? So it's about a 20-year stretch where it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's, that's a great time to refresh it. I don't know if that's the way the fashion world works, right, with whatever's in that used to be in and all that. Mm-hmm. But it does feel like team-wise, it's about a 2-decade stretch where you can say, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, of course, we're doing here. Well, we're about that same time with the Jags, right?
You know what I'm happy?
20, 25 years in their throwbacks.
Yeah. You know what I'm actually kind of happy for? Because, when we do talk about the preseason and everything, we talk about, they unveiled the throwbacks. They look great. They should make them primaries this year because what was the motto, Brent? Yeah, it just feels different. Maybe
this did feel different.
This did feel different. But now, in retrospect, hindsight being 2020, if you would have had a new uniform and you're playing like this, it kind of because that's the thing. Like when you unveil a new uniform, you're tied to the performance on the field, right? So the Bills. Well, guess what? You're playing at a really high level. Jerseys look great. I think kind of Houston kind of had this idea because they had like the third this. Whatever the alternate jersey with the H on the helmet. Yeah. They thought, okay, hey, we might go with Super Bowl this year. Let's get like a new jersey. You can't do that anytime soon now in Jacksonville, I feel like.
No, and by the way, there are restrictions when you can even do it anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, right now the Jags should have like 1984 Pop Warner jerseys on.
Do you think when they open the new stadium, new jerseys?
That could be. That could be. I don't know where we're at in the time frame. I know they couldn't do what they did with the alternate helmet and everything else until this year. Like there was some kind of marker that they met, and now we'll have to see when they can adjust the uniforms. Well, although I don't feel like a refresh of their uniform is coming anytime soon, so you're probably right. That would be the time to do it as they open.
Hey, Brent, I know you don't like talking about this, but it's either this or draft talk. So you decide.
No, I'm okay. Listen, it's part of it. It's branding. If people like it, like you guys just lost your mind when we came back from break.
Did you not see them?
Casey, you want to put him up one more time? Just maybe he's not seeing it properly. Are you not seeing it properly?
I told you it's fine. It's good. I just don't lose my mind.
I think great would be.
I thought it was a card worth like $1,000. Quite frankly, that's what I thought it was.
Casey, did you add the emojis, or is that just like how they?
No, they put those on there.
Yeah, go on, whatever. Yeah, do your thing.
Like I don't know how you don't appreciate this, Brent. This is just art.
Yeah.
The dark vibe, and you also have to appreciate like we're not looking at Daniel Jones here. We're looking at the MVP of the sport. Since getting engaged, he has not turned the football over.
Daniel Jones and his scout team
it
safety
feels like
jersey.
they made these unis just for him with the dark visor.
And the scout team safety jersey.
Brent. Have some respect.
Where's Daniel Jones? Is he still chilling? Or did he sign someplace?
Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
If he was playing for the Raiders, he'd be playing right now.
Yes,
yeah, but come on, man. Got to play for a contender.
Well, in theory, couldn't they sign him? He's on the practice squad.
They could. Yeah, that's a good point.
So the Raiders are actively tanking.
But didn't he say out loud, like, I don't want to play there?
Yeah, but he doesn't have a choice. Hey, first of all, you're Daniel Jones. You don't get to call any. Imagine Daniel Jones trying to call the shots. Hey, go where you're told, man.
Go where you're told. Yeah, we're bringing back the Bortles jerseys in about 20 years. Z4, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, we'll bring back the two-tone. and that would be in about 2037, right? Sometime between 2035 and 2040.
Yeah.
So that's actually not 20 years. This is probably more like 10, 12 years because those jerseys are already 5, 7, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think they might do a throwback to those, or they might just shovel that one under the rug.
Are you talking about the throwbacks as in just like the dual with the helmets, or do you mean the mustard colored ones?
No, I meant the dual.
Okay,
yeah. That's what I meant.
Because like when it comes to throwbacks, like man, I bring them all back. The mustard ones can just chill. We're all set.
Look at the roster here in Jacksonville, and this is a little off-season kind of talk, but it's actually lends to how good is this job? Like, how many tough decisions are there to make? What does your roster look like if you're a GM coming into the mix? And, okay, go right down the first teamers right now. You got Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, Devin Duvernay. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no real big decisions there. Walker Little, they already made the decision. Ezra Cleveland, this is year one of his extension. You've got Ezra Cleveland in 25. Mitch Morse could be a decision to make. I think they're going to draft a center. I think it's pretty obvious they got to have to draft a younger guy, but they could also keep Mitch around for another year, depending on what he wants to do. He's deep into his career. Sheriff, I think, is out. I mean, I think that's an easy decision. I don't think that's a big decision. I think you got to replace the right guard at this point for a younger player, probably a cheaper player, or a stud that you're going to spend on. Anton Harrison, I think you're committed there. Now, that is a position somebody come in and say, hey, we could upgrade. But I think they're going to be like, hey, we got enough things to fix. Mm-hmm. So, again, the offensive line stays intact. Obviously, you've got Trevor. You got ETN and Tank. Do you see him, not doing anything with those guys? Could you trade ETN in the offseason? I guess you could, right? Is that a decision to make? He picked up his fifth-year option. So he's on your roster.
Yeah.
Or you could trade him.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you were to trade Travis Etienne, realistically, what are you getting for him?
Not much. Because you don't have a lot of leverage.
Correct. So I feel like you just keep him then, right? Because, look at the 49ers. Look at any team that's not the Eagles, I feel like. You can never have too many running backs.
Listen, I'm okay, too. I think they've got to figure it out, though. I think they've got to figure out who's their best back, what's the workload look like. That's one this team, quite frankly, hasn't figured out just yet. And for a variety of reasons. And I've said this, I've been critical of their offensive staff on multiple occasions, maybe more than multiple. I will tell you this, I think that's a hard one. I think both guys are pretty good, and I don't know if there's enough separation between one or the other to say they're this much better, right? Etienne was the incumbent, but he kind of got beat out earlier in the year. Bigsby was playing better.
Yeah.
And then they both got injured and everything else. So, I guess you're right. Let's we got two guys there. We can work with that. We got enough things to fix. That ain't it. Let's keep continuity on offense, and we can do some things here.
Yeah, the only issue with that is, and we'll see how the offseason plays out, is yes, you have two guys that are suitable, but can you, like you said, can you use them the right way? Can you push the right buttons at the right time? Now, I'll say this much, Casey, I hope you're listening. One player has a lot more rushing touchdowns than the other player.
No, he's got 3 more.
One player has a lot more rushing touchdowns with what this offense has shown than the other player.
3 games left.
One player has an astronomical lead right now going into 3 games based off of what we've seen from this offense compared to the other player.
Playing the Raiders? Playing the Raiders.
Well, by the way, just to add to
that,
I told you guys in the break, Daniel Griffiths tweeted this out. He said, this is the last 20-plus yard run for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you guys now know where it came. Yeah. It was against the Indianapolis Colts 10 weeks ago.
Gallows humor, Brent. This is what we're doing.
10 weeks ago.
Gallows humor. We're laughing at it because it's so too sad if we really want to think about it.
And that's coming off a game where I actually thought they ran the ball pretty well, but obviously they didn't run it for 20-plus yards.
We're hyping up this offensive line. The offensive line's coming back again. Yes.
Well, listen, this is the reality of their situation. Their offense is coming back again.
Yes.
Like, the offense is coming back again.
Except maybe Mitch Morse, who's the best player on the offensive line. Yes! Maybe he's done. Maybe he's going back to Buffalo. But what is Mitch Morse thinking, by the way?
I know it.
Feel bad for I mean, I don't Yeah,
well,
you're making money, dude.
There's
so
a little bit.
You're living in Jacksonville.
Well, there's a little bit of that, too, that
just watching the Bills from afar, watching Josh Allen just play out of his mind.
I think in many respects his family's kind of happy about it because it's December and they're not in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think there was an element of that. Like, it's a lot living in Buffalo.
Casey, could you use your photoshopping skills and put one of those red jerseys on Mitch Morris to see what it looks like? Appreciate you.
See what I can do.
Appreciate you, man. But no, it's
so really. Seriously, comes down to Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, and like a guy like Mitch Morse. Like those are your possible changes. It looks like on offense. I think ETN's an outsider here, where it could, but is that changing? You feel like you're getting worse maybe if you lose ETN. I think. I think what you ask yourself is, can you upgrade or get cheaper at the other guys and younger at the other positions like Kirk and Ingram? Those are the only questions. But there's a really good chance this offense comes back. I mean, what are you adding? Like, what are you adding? You're adding an offensive coordinator and you're adding a new staff is what you hope.
Yeah.
Because if they don't do that, you're seriously running it back. And for the third time in 4 years, you're actually running it back and making no significant changes. Because that's an offense that's pretty much here.
Yeah.
Like they're in, again, unless you make a pretty loud move like a Gabe Davis and eat that money or something like that. Now, again, Kirk, Ingram are probably the two that would it be surprising at this point, given all I just said about their offense, that if both of those guys are still here next year?
Well, see, to me, it depends, Brent. If you bring in a new regime, then yes, I think it will be a surprise if both those guys are here next year. I think if you have the same old guard, I wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah. What would you like to see them do? Like, where could they beef up on offense? Let's just say they weren't contractually obligated and kind of pot committed to a lot of these guys.
I mean,
what would you upgrade on their offense?
I'm not going to lie. Like, Walker Little might be that dude. But I was excited for I wouldn't say I was excited for this draft, but like what I envisioned for this draft is you take by far the best offensive tackle because you'll probably be able to get that between quarterbacks and Travis Hunter and everybody, maybe another wide receiver. Like regardless of how many games you win, you probably have the right to get the best offensive lineman in this draft. So like that's what I was envisioning. And then they decided, hey, you know what? 52-6, whatever it was, let's start handing out some more money.
Yeah.
So.
It's weird to type it. Is there a good chance everyone in this offense will be back in 2025? I would say, with the exception of Sheriff, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to replace Sheriff then.
I think you have to replace Sheriff.
Because obviously your tackles are taken care of. Like, what is going to... There's no realm, Brent, where you draft a tackle in the first round. You can't. Right? You can't do that. Or you just say, Walker Little, go play guard again? Like, are you going to play this whole game again? No.
The only way you think it is if the tape's worse than I think on a guy like Anton Harrison or something.
Okay.
But I don't think you take a top... They're going to pick in the top 10, right? So you don't take a top 10 guard and you don't take a top 10 center.
Yeah.
Most likely. That's not where guys get picked there.
But they wouldn't say, hey, Walker Little, let's go play guard now and let's take...
They're not doing that again. I think. They made...
I hope not.
No, they're not doing that again. Well, they just paid him like a left tackle too, like at least in a minimal contract.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, isn't that kind of, as you look at this roster, isn't that pretty wild though? That this offense has struggled to the degree it has for the last, really going back to last November, so 20-something games we're talking about, and they're going to run them back. Now, there's been a lot of injuries in there, so you got to kind of finger cross this thing. That's the way they'll sell it. Hey, we got to stay healthy. We got to play better, but we'll have the continuity. Like if you like continuity. Now, you don't have continuity if the staff gets gone, but you'll have continuity in an offense in terms of players and who they know and Trevor throwing the football to them and all these kind of things. Good or bad. And if people think that the staff is the problem, we're going to find out. Yeah. Like if they make a move at the staff, I think we're going to really find out with this offense how much the staff was the problem here. Because if they do perform well, it's going to be about the same team. I mean, but what's weird about this whole thing is it's been a lot of the same guys when 22 and early 23 when it was working. And then a lot of the same guys now that it's not working. The only thing that will be a huge shift potentially in 25 is the coaching staff. All right, so you go to the defensive side. Trayvon Walker, he's here. And Josh Hines-Allen here. The interior gets really interesting to me because most people would say this is where the Jags need the biggest upgrade. Devon Hamilton, who's been playing a little bit better the last couple of weeks, just has not been the same guy ever since the back. He had signed a contract that year. Now he's 2 years into that contract, which makes me feel like you can probably get out of that contract if you want to make a move there. They obviously drafted Mason Smith, but that's not going to be on a new staff. Like either is a Jordan Jefferson. I think none of the moves at defensive interior, that's where somebody could come in and be like, all right, we are upgrading here.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter at the expense of whatever.
Yeah.
They might be able to do that. The one thing we talk about Eric Armstead all the time.
But when you say upgrading, do you mean in free agency or do you mean they're going to adjust in the draft? Draft, okay.
I would say, I think the Jags' chances right now, if you ask me to go when I go to Vegas this week and put a wager on what position they are going to draft, it's going to be defensive tackle in the first round. Like I'm at like 80%.
Really? That high?
Defensive tackle at this moment.
I mean, could you make
the
an
only
argument?
guy that screws that for me is Travis Hunter.
Well, but what about corner? Not even another corner?
They could. I just think people are reluctant in the draft to take a top 5, top 8, top 10 pick at corner because you can also usually get those guys that are pretty good. Look what say Philly's doing or whoever have done in the.
But those guys dropped though. To be fair,
they did, but it still end of first round in the second round, and they do drop. Is the point? They end up dropping, and there's usually in the top 40 or 50, you can find some guys there that play pretty well. Heck, the Jags have a 7th round guy playing halfway decent, in my opinion, in Monteric Brown. Yeah. So I don't think you're picking a top. You're getting a big fella. Is the point? In the top 10, I think you're getting a big fella, and you just said it. You can't get the offense because you're already. What are you going to do with them?
Committed, yeah.
And so you go get a defensive tackle or an edge guy to add to the rotation because you can kick Trayvon Walker in if you wanted to.
In terms and off, I can look it up myself too. Is Walker Little like a top 5, top 10 highest paid tackle?
No.
So then
they got a good deal on.
How can't you see them moving him to guard then? Honestly,
because they're not going to move him to guard again.
Okay.
Because it didn't work. He's not a guard.
Okay. And hey, I'm aware, but there's a lot of moves that sometimes it doesn't work out, but this team wants to put players in that position.
Again, if you want to upgrade at tackle, you could definitely go right tackle because actually Anton Harrison at this point is not costing you a ton of money as the 7th pick.
So then you bump Harrison to guard?
I'm not saying you move him to guard. I just say you get better there. If you wanted to upgrade in a tackle spot, you upgrade there.
Yeah.
That's just the beauty in the eye of the beholder. I'm telling you, I'm not doing that. I think he's a good player. But what I always say is Jim Harbaugh comes walking in this door, right? And he didn't go to the Chargers. You know he's beefing up the offensive line.
Correct.
So my point is he wasn't signing Walker Little because he's like, I'm going to go get a top 7 pick in the offensive line. And then you would say, okay, well, what can I upgrade now that we got a guy paying $15 million there and we've got a guy under contract at left guard? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm either going to go get a right guard, well, probably not in the top 10. I go get a center, and probably not in the top 10. Can I get a better right tackle right now that's even better than the guy we got? That would be the only place to upgrade.
Yeah.
So from the big fella standpoint, you're either getting depth at edge because you have none, or you're getting a defensive tackle. Yeah. And I think it's like defensive lineman to me right now is about an 80% chance that the Jaguars draft that.
Do you think, Armstead has to be here next year too, right?
So I was just looking at his contract. So it's $7.4 million cap hit, but the dead money is ridiculous at 24. Oof. So it's $24 million. And by the way, year 3, a lot of dead money too. And it's a $19 million cap hit. So the potential out is after next year.
Okay.
And again, you're going to get a ton of cap.
But keep in mind, it's also you're getting the YouTube videos and Walter Payton Man of the Year with Eric Armstead. So it's more of I get the whole defensive end thing, and like let's just let's brush that off quick. But I'm saying in terms of YouTube videos and in terms of community, Walter Payton Man, like maybe this trade
his
value?
Actual money these first 2 years is not bad. Like it's $4.5 million this year on the cap and 7.4 next year on the cap. Now he got a $12.5 million signing bonus, but it gets hefty after that. I mean, they've got one more year with Armstead is the point.
So a team's going to come. Well, if it's a new regime, they're going to come in here and say you're playing defensive tackle, have fun, right? Depending what the scheme looks like.
I would hope,
but we're not going to have a repeat of this year, Brent.
I would think so. So then you go to the linebackers, man. This is where it gets interesting, right? Is somebody going to come in here and revamp the whole linebacker position for the Jacksonville
Which is
Jaguars?
what you invested so much into it, too.
Yeah, and again, I hate to say, I don't think it's a whiff. I mean, Moomer you're not getting anything about, but Ventrell Miller's been good at times. Now he only saw, 12, 15 snaps the other day?
By the way, that
Lloyd's
fake punt
a
was on Moomer. I mean, I don't got to tell you.
Yeah,
but
I know. He had
it's
it.
rough.
He had it. He had the tackle. So what do you do at linebacker?
Once again, like
they just restructured. I'm going to get to Fournier's contract too here.
So here's how I feel about it. Like with Lloyd, yeah, you can make an argument in saying he's not playing his best football right now, but I don't think he's playing his right spot. Like I think putting him in the middle was a detriment to him. It's almost like the Miles Jack effect, where we saw what Miles Jack was capable of when he's on the outside running around being an athlete. I would here's my hope of it. I would hope if the new regime comes in and you got a defensive guy who knows what he's doing, that he sees what Devin Lloyd is good at and is capable of and gives him a shot at that. Like, maybe it's wishful thinking on my end. Maybe it's because where you drafted him, that shouldn't really matter at this point because you have a new regime. Like, they don't care. It's like, oh, well, Trent drafted him years, so we should. No, like that doesn't. New regimes don't care where players are drafted. It's can you fit into a system or not. If you're a first-round pick, you don't fit in the system, we'll see you later. But I do think he's got attributes that can make him a good football player if he's in his right spot.
Foye-Oluokin's interesting. He's an $11.5 million cap hit, which I would say probably is that's kind of high in the linebacker market, but this year is 15.7, so like a lot of money on the cap this year. $22 million dead money. So again, it's one of those deals where you really don't want to get out of it until after next year. So it's kind of like, are you keeping Foye-Oluokin, who's going to be 30 years old by the time the first game rolls out next year, and which is okay. Still playing at a pretty high level, I think. So I guess my point there is, could he be a trade candidate? Is that one of those tough decisions that you might have to make? Do you get younger in that spot? And if the Jags do make a move at linebacker of any kind, it's likely going to be in the draft because they've already got money tied up here if they keep Foye. So it's an interesting spot. They're not getting enough out of their linebacker spot. I don't really think Foye-Oluokin's been the problem. And you could fix it with playing in the right position, just switching those guys back.
Well, and here's the thing, too. Let's not make the same mistake again and let go of all these bridge guys, right? Because this is what you did back when.
Well, that's true with Caldwell.
So, is Devin Lloyd? Do you feel like Devin Lloyd's one of those guys? I really don't, because what has he given in the locker room and things?
Yeah, not as much as I thought he was going to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I'm basing keeping Devin Lloyd more on potential what he could do on the field more than what he means to the team, if that makes sense. But with Foye-Oluokin, I feel like he is sort of like one of those bridge guys that you want to keep around.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
But then how am I justifying keeping all the linebacker,
That's what I'm saying. So now you're going to be like, okay, we're going to come back next year, and you're going to add a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep your linebacker.
So here's the thing. If I'm keeping one, I'm keeping Foye. I'm letting Lloyd go then, because I've seen.
Or just move him to the bench, right?
Yeah,
you don't have to necessarily cut him.
Yeah,
because you got another year on.
I'm going to upgrade for Lloyd then.
But your depth gets super upgraded, right? But you upgrade for Lloyd on the field.
Yeah,
and maybe Ventrell and Moomer aren't enough. You got to go do that.
Correct, and maybe there's some certain types of gadget plays you could run on defense with, Lloyd.
Yeah. Yeah, you could mix them in a pass rush situation. Yeah, maybe you just use them better, right? So then you hit. So there's really not a lot of change there. You see where I'm going with this? There's not a lot of change on this roster.
The secondary needs the overhaul.
The secondary is where you can potentially overhaul. Now, Tyson Campbell's staying. You drafted Jarian Jones, and I think you like that overall, even though we could avoid some of the big mistakes, like leaving Devontae Adams wide open would be nice. Darnell Savage. Cisco's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Monteric Brown, you tried up. So you get in a corner and a safety at least.
Well, let's ask ourselves this, though. Are you confident with Jerry Jones as being your number 2 corner, or would you rather see him as your nickel?
I want him as my nickel.
Same. So then you need a true 2 corner.
Yeah, you need if you look at the biggest things they need defensive tackle and corner.
Yeah, but I was saying, like, do you think Jerry Jones can be that 2 corner, and then you have to look for nickel back? But I agree with you.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he can. I think he's a good nickel. So why move? Why change it?
Sure.
Right?
Well, I'm just saying if a new regime, new people come in.
I just want to, I think I know that he's a pretty good nickel.
Mm-hmm.
So why even mess around with it?
Okay.
Just go get a good corner.
Okay.
So I think if you look at priority-wise, you're looking at cornerback, defensive tackle, safety.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you look at the whole roster from the start in 22, you need, in my estimation, you need 4 spots that you're going to have holes. You need to get better at defensive tackle. You just got to find a way to get better. I don't care who you already have here. You're not good enough. You have to show a move to upgrade in that spot and invest in it, probably through the draft. Corner, safety, and right guard. Because right guard, I think Sheriff's going to be gone. And I honestly don't know if Cooper Hodges is going to, I think that was a very serious leg injury. And I have no idea if he's what his situation. I'm not reporting like he's never going to play again. I'm just saying I think there's a lot of unknown. I think if he had stayed healthy, it would have been like, hey, we got Cooper Hodges. We're going to give that a go. You might still get competition in there, but I don't think you can say that right now coming off the 2 severe leg injuries for Cooper Hodges.
So looking at, because I agree with you here, where they do need an upgrade defensive tackle. Not to say the guys you drafted this year can't make a difference, but it needs to be better, Brent. It needs to be almost like a game wrecker. And if you want to get a game wrecker, yeah, you can find those game wreckers in the first round of the draft, especially up high. Second, third round, now it's like, well, we saw it this year.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, yeah, either you do that or else there's some names here, interior defenders, Milton Williams, Levi Ozoreki, who's from the Lions, B.J. Hill from the Bengals, Calais Campbell, Osa. I mean, so many crazy names. Osa Odigwuzua.
Crazy name position.
From the Dallas Cowboys. Jaren Reed from the Seahawks, like that one. Tier Tart, I can say that one just fine, from the Chargers. Trishawn Wharton from the Chiefs. DJ Jones and Puna Ford from the Chargers as well. I mean, some names I've heard of. Some names are kind of like, I think you're kind of stretching a little bit in terms of game changing.
I think, first of all, there are not a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
In that position, because I think there are not a lot of people out there. I think it's a tough spot to play, and I think that's why you're seeing guys now getting $20-something million to play that spot. You've seen the price of it go way up. Mm-hmm. So, again, I'm going to tell you, it's like a slam dunk to me that they're going defensive tackle in the first round. I think you could trade out and then do some other things, but if they stay in their spot wherever they're going to be, which looks like they're going to be, I think they might win 2 more games. They might even slide back to like number 9 or 10 or something like that. And I think they're going to try to get defensive tackle. Now, I haven't even looked at the draft.
CBS put out a mock today, and they have them taking defensive tackle.
Which one is it? The
Michigan
kid,
Mason Graham.
But that's with them in the top 5, right, Casey?
At 4, yeah.
Does Graham make it to like 10? I don't think he will.
Like 10.
Well, if they pick 10, listen, there's a really good chance they beat the Raiders and the Titans. I mean, those 2 teams suck.
You seen the Jags?
I know, but I mean, it can happen, right? If they win those 2 games, they're going to slide to like the 9 or 10 spot.
Behind him, you've got edge rusher from Penn State, offensive tackle from Texas, offensive tackle from LSU, corner, edge. So in theory, there's going to be a big human there. But he's the only defensive tackle in that top 10.
Okay. I could see them going edge if they had to as well. Couldn't you guys?
Sounds like there's a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, and I get it, Brent, but it's hard to justify. Because you draft that edge at what, number 4? What do you think they're going to draft? 6, 7?
No, I think they're going to draft like 9.
9, okay. So let's say they draft 9. Wishful thinking, but let's say they draft 9. Yeah, okay, you get an edge, but realistically, how much is he going to be playing? Right? Will he be a difference maker, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because you have Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen.
I get it, but you need, first of all, you can get, that guy's still going to be a difference maker.
I know,
he's going to get on the field, and you can, now 4 years in, you can kick around, I think, Trayvon a bit. You can do that. This is when guys start to do that stuff
But Brent,
a little bit deeper in their career.
He's just fine on the outside, though. I'm not trying to kick guys in. And, like, I get, he's a bigger dude. He could probably play inside. I like where he's playing right now.
But
I don't want to do this game.
Okay, but let's just say, because we know this happens.
Sure.
We were at, like, let's go with a modest 65% snap rate for Trayvon Walker. Okay. So that's another 35% snaps. That's a lot of the football game that you need a guy in there, even if you don't kick him inside at all for any place.
Yeah.
Any place. So you need another guy. I mean, this team is desperately missing more help on the edge. And we know that. You know what the luckiest thing that happened this year so far, knock on wood? These guys have stayed healthy.
Yeah.
If they don't, they've got nothing there. Like nothing. And so they need, listen, I think they need defensive tackle first.
Correct.
But they definitely need edge help. They need edge help.
No, I agree with you. But if you take a guy at number 9 or wherever it's going to be at edge, like, that's a depth pick. He's not starting. And I get he's going to rotate in, and that's how defensive lines work. I get all that, but like, he's not necessarily going to start. So then it's almost like it seems like a luxury pick.
Yeah,
like,
it's more than a luxury, though. You know.
Well,
that.
then get a guy. Yeah, but then get a guy in the second round. Like, I see like a
Maybe
defensive.
It's not as good a guy. I want a good guy.
But
I want a good defensive tackle as well. Like, you can't have it all. I would rather take the defensive tackle, like you said, take that overall than the edge.
if the defensive tackle's not there, the only starter you could possibly draft would be the corner if he's there, right? Will Johnson, Michigan.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the only way you're drafting because you're not picking Starks,
and you're not picking a right guard. Yeah, like the Starks kid is a really good player, but I don't think I'm picking him in the top 10 as a safety. To your point, right? Same with that right guard spot.
And if you're picking at 10, like you're not getting back around to get one of those.
So
guys.
maybe that's where you start to move back, Casey. Like maybe that's where they would try to do that. Well, I mean, listen, the one thing they've actually done pretty well.
Move back again.
No, the one thing they've done pretty well is maneuver the first round of the draft the last couple of years. I mean, they actually have done that well.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you the next guy's going to do it well, or if there is a next guy, but
maybe go the other way.
Casey, do you have the mock draft in front of you?
Yeah.
Do they have, where's Derek Harmon going?
Let me find it.
I mean, I've watched a lot of Oregon, so I'm just curious. Not even going first round, huh?
Well, you look at that. Delphonic says higher than $20 million a year at the interior is Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins. They are premium position now for elite players. Yeah, they really are.
24.
I thought there was one
He's
other
going
one
24?
Delphonic that I was missing, but
Baltimore.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
DT, cornerback, or wide receiver only in the top 10 says Delphonic. And I would add edge in there if it's good enough. Like if it's a great play. Like if you were to redo this draft from this year, and now you're picking in the top 10, Jags are in the same situation right now. Keep in mind they already got like Brian Thomas Jr. in this.
Yeah.
And Jared Verse is available at number 9. I'm going to get Jared Verse. And I'm going to find a way to get him on the field. And I'm going to have 3 damn good edge rushers.
Okay.
That's my point. Like, if that's the kind of guy you're getting, or you think you're getting, I'm like, I'll find a place for him. And the reason, guys, I'll always say this, and you hear this, there's 2 things that I learned back in the day covering the Giants when I was in Albany. And we had this conversation nonstop. In New York, media had this conversation nonstop. Michael Strahan, I think, was kind of pissed at some point, like, because of this in his career. Like, why are we going to draft OCU Manura? Why are we going to draft X player? We already got these guys.
And then they won a Super Bowl because of it.
They won 2. And the other thing they did is they really built their offensive line. They showed a lot of consistency. Like they struggled early on, and then they kept it together, and it really paid off for them. The 2 reasons I think that they won those Super Bowls, along with some nice breaks and Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning, because of the depth that they had at pass rusher. And they were, to me, they were kind of, or maybe I was just covering it this time, so I was paying more attention. They were the model of the new age of the NFL, where you tried to get that 8-man rotation. Like you needed the depth, not just for depth, not just a guy that, he's okay. No, the Jags have that now. The Jags have major fall off from their first 2 guys to their 3rd and 4th guys. Major fall off. I think the Giants showed back then, and I think the good teams still can now, that you've got like, you don't want to even see our 3rd and 4th guys. You know? And I think there's a benefit to it. And again, when you have position versatility, I'm not telling you that Trayvon Walker should play there all the time, Austin. But I do think because he could play 60, 65% at edge, and now for the other 10 12 snaps in the game. You could kick him inside if you want to and utilize him. Well, now that edge even becomes more valuable of a position. So I'm with you. Defensive tackle first, that's high priority. I think that's where they'd go if the guy's on the board. But if the guy's not on the board, I'm not reaching for it. I think edge then becomes right in the mix of that, and cornerback does as well. I don't think you're going to see. I will buy.
Write this down, everybody. Write this down.
Where do you want me to take you? If they pick receiver in the top 10.
Well, that'd be Travis. I mean, what is we counting Travis Hunter?
Yeah. Well, if they use him as receiver.
Him or McMillan.
They got to use him as receiver.
Okay. As a little bit. What happens if they use him as both ways? We're good. Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Brent. We're taking
what are we buying?
Bruce Chris.
Let's
go and upgrade ourselves.
Bruce Chris, here we come.
Let's go and upgrade ourselves.
If they pick a wide receiver
Casey?
In the top 10.
Casey, you getting this?
I'm getting it.
I'll even go as far as this.
Cowboy ribeye,
I'll
too,
go
I think.
cowboy ribeye.
I think a cowboy ribeye.
I'll go as far as this.
Lobster bisque, too.
If the Jags even pick 11 or 12, for some reason they fall out of the top 10, I'll still say they won't pick receiver.
Give me top 15.
Yeah, but with the lobster bisque and the mac and cheese, though.
Fine, I'll give you top 15.
All right.
If the Jags pick wide receiver in the top 15, if they're drafting and they pick wide receiver in the top 15, I'll take you guys to
asparagus or cream spinach. Gotta go cream spinach.
Cream spinach is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm set.
All right, top 15.
Okay,
you heard it here because it ain't happening. So they're going defensive tackle, edge, or corner.
I'll say this: I think if they win some more games, it's got a better shot of happening.
Well,
if the Jaguars, if they fall,
deeper they go down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, like if you're top 5 and you get out, like unless it's Travis Hunter, which we'll see, they're probably
Well, it's either Hunter. Is McMillan the next on the board, Casey?
Yeah, and in that CBS he was 8th or 9th.
Delphonic, I'll take you as well. Is that it on the receiver front? I seriously haven't looked at a mock draft. That's about it. So it's McMillan. It's either Hunter or McMillan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Also, for what it's worth, CBS, not that this is a Jags thing, has Ashton Genty going like 13th.
I've seen that a lot, and I'm surprised a little bit by
really?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to Dallas, right?
In this one, Dallas.
I mean, if Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs can go first round.
He's not either guy. He's not either guy.
You need to watch some more Boise State football, dude.
The next receiver, by the way, is Luther Burden from Missouri.
Brent, the guy might be special.
It's 20.
Well, I'm not telling you he might not be special, but he's a different guy than those guys. The reason why they got those guys
because they're like the Saquon and
right? Yeah, I mean,
Genty can be electric.
I don't know. Do you guys feel Genty's electric?
Oh, Casey, we got to pull up the highlight films. Yeah, I think so.
He's pretty gnarly, Brent.
I don't know. I do not think of those three guys in the same sentence. I think he's a different style back than those guys.
I would lean Brent because he is different style than those.
Well, yeah, he's not catching a lot of balls out of the backfield,
right?
But that's why they got those guys. They got those guys because they can do both. Is my
point. The only thing with him is can he break tackles in the NFL? Because if he can break tackles in the NFL, then he's more like Derrick Henry.
He's more Derrick Henry like. And again, Derrick Henry would be worth
valuable.
the 13th pick. You're right.
Take that. I mean, would you draft Derrick Henry in the first round if you knew it?
But that's that's a little high praise on. I mean,
well, you got to risk it for the biscuit. But like getting back to the defensive tackle versus edge, I think, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like if you have a top, we'll say for the sake of argument, a top 8 pick, and you take a defensive tackle, I feel like that. You for sure know what you're getting with that, as opposed to an edge.
I agree with that.
And I feel like
safest pick is what you're saying.
Yeah, and you could have more immediate impact than an edge. And I think a team coming off of whatever, we'll say a 3, 4, 5 win season needs a little more immediate impact.
Oh, they got to get impact out of that spot.
Yeah,
whoever they pick.
Yeah.
Man, we are going to go to a break at some time, but not just right yet. Let me just give you a second. I want to see the 2023 draft. So just this past year, I want to see the first defensive tackle taken. My gosh, it took a little bit. Okay, Jalen Carter, make an impact, right?
I would say so. He's doing pretty good.
He's going to be defensive rookie of the year, isn't he?
Well, wait, that was Carter's on his second. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I went to a 2023. Well, 2023 is fine instead of 24. I was trying to find this.
But to answer the question,
did he make a pretty good impact last year?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe he did. But was there? Well, he might have been out for a couple games. I get him and Jordan. Is Jordan Davis there too, right?
Yeah, because they got so much depth. I wonder if they needed to use him as much, right?
First defensive tackle last year was Byron Murphy.
Like this April.
Yes.
Or May now. How's he doing?
He has 22 tackles with a half sack.
Okay,
it's hard to tell though because we don't know.
Doesn't matter. But is Murphy? I have no idea. Who picked him? Who was he playing?
Seattle.
Let me ask you this:
I actually think I've heard that he is playing well. Now that you say that.
Well, they paired him with the dude from New York, Leonard Williams.
Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams.
Yes, and okay, so that's pretty legit. Let me ask you this, Casey. I mean, now we're just putting him on the spot all the time.
How's Maisie Smith?
I was going to ask, how's that dude from UCLA that like the Colts said we just got the best edge rusher in the draft?
Latu or whatever.
Yeah. What does he have for numbers?
Let's see.
I think he's been just okay.
Well, because like once again, and it's not fair, but edge you can kind of get a more vibe of how they're doing based off of numbers.
Well,
like a defensive tackle, you can't. Okay, well, he's got half a sack? That means nothing.
He's got 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles.
Okay.
And a pass deflection.
Yeah, I think he's been okay.
I mean, he was a top what?
How's Lucas Van Ness done? Did last year, and Will McDonald for the Jets. Those were two edge guys last year.
Van Ness is getting. I think he kind of rotates in because he's with. They got Gary, and then they got the other dude too.
Yeah, let me just find one more. Let's because I think you're good. That's a good point. Like, what has the edge guy done in
Van
impact?
Ness has 7 total sacks.
Oh, dang! You mean this just the season alone?
No, total.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, over 2 years now.
Okay.
How's the Dallas Turner kid done in Minnesota?
Look him up quick.
You know, because the Jags traded out of that spot for Turner.
Maisie Smith, somebody asked, 1.5 sacks in 2 years.
So really, the guy is Verse. Like Verse is making a huge impact. Dallas, he was picked number 19. Like he's had an unbelievable year, I think.
Dallas Turner has 2 sacks this season.
2 sacks.
2 sacks this
My
season.
guess so.
9 tackles.
Yeah, he's probably doesn't play as much. Like they're probably depth.
But once again, Brent, first rounder.
Well,
just saying.
But again, these good teams are getting depth.
Are the Jaguars a good team?
Well, they want to be.
Well, don't we all? But like, are they right now where they stand, or do we need maybe some other stuff?
Listen, I think we're on the same page. We want like the Graham kid seems like he would be the guy. But if there's a fall off after that, I'm not reaching for a defensive tackle. That might just be okay.
It looks like for the last couple of years, the defensive tackle impact guy is Brian Bursey, the guy from Clemson.
Yeah, I remember
he got picked 29th overall. 4.5 sacks last year, 7.5 this year. Plays a ton, a lot of tackles, good numbers.
Now, has the Tavondre Sweat, who the Tennessee Titans picked, and he had that rumble the other day, has he played well? I mean, or is that the first time anybody said his name?
I don't know, but that was a nasty stiff arm.
That's pretty crazy, right? He's a big dude now because they got him in the second round.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of defensive tackles, actually, this draft went early in the second round for whatever reason.
He has 1 sack.
Once again, you can't.
41 tackles with assists. So that's actually a lot.
I'll give you this. The Jags couldn't have got him, right? Tavondre Sweat was already off the board when they took Mason Smith. But I think you'd rather have Sweat.
I don't like using it, but I think for this position I'll use it PFF just to see like what the grade is. 78. He's 14th right now out of all the defensive linemen.
Sweat.
Like interior wise.
Yeah, so
14th. That's good.
So you can get him in the second round. So that's a position. Again, I think you have a harder time getting edges that are impactful in the second round.
Brent, let me ask you this. How many defensive interior guys went before him?
Before Sweat?
Yes.
He plays 67% of the snaps, by the way. So he's steady out there.
Huh.
The Falcons picked one. The Commanders picked them both right in front of Tennessee.
Okay. So he was,
and then in the first round, Byron Murphy was the only one. So 3 other guys.
So he was the 4th defensive tackle.
And then there was just like a run on him in the second round because like Tennessee did theirs, and then the Jags got Mason Smith, and then Chris Jenkins, the Bengals took from Michigan, and then another one in the second round for Michael Hall out of Ohio State. So, I mean, there was just a run in the second round of defensive tackles for whatever reason.
Well, and you had to ask yourself the question, too. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a big dude like a nose that's just going to kind of take up space?
I don't think that's what we're looking for here, right?
I mean, in the first round, you better get a 3 technique in the first.
We need a, again, when this defense was really good,
unless you want to get like a Vita Vea.
You had the 3 technique stuff. You had Malik Jackson. You had Calais Campbell who could do it. The Jags need a big-time 3 technique. Or play the guy that you paid at the 3 technique. I don't know. We'll be back. Brent Austen Show here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Ryan Thomas Jr. to the Pro Bowl. Will he make it?
I hope so.
He should, right?
Well, how could he not?
Yeah.
How many wide receivers get to go? Well, they don't get to go. It's just like you're highlighting.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I think he'll make it. Would he be the first rookie to make it to the Pro Bowl for the Jags in a long time? Trying to think of one. Did Josh make the Pro Bowl his first year when he had 10 sacks?
He might have been an alternate.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. Brent Austen Show, the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder-grade materials. And there's more, and for that, we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game, too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends.
Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Any wrestling fans out there, there's been a lot going on in the wrestling world. Come check out the Scrap House with myself and Casey Kurtz. Every Wednesday going live at 7 p.m. Going to have quite the episode and things to talk about, Casey, because there's been a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, that's why I decided, since, again, just to confirm, no new bump shots. So I'm just digging through just anything at this point. So I said we were just talking about it in the break. Might as well give some promo. But, yeah, lots going on that I can't necessarily say I'm happy with, Austin. So we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Casey will be going at some throats here. He'll be ripping some people, as he probably should. There's been some good things, but there's definitely some things in wrestling, too, that are make you kind of going, like, what are we doing here? But we'll break it down tomorrow. Don't want to give away too much here on the Brent and Austin Show. Casey, I'm not sure if you saw, you follow Florida State. You've talked about Florida State in the past on the old show. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say his last name. Still can't say it. And, with all due respect, I feel like you didn't play enough. You didn't play well enough for me to even learn it. But DJU has announced that he is indeed going to go to the NFL draft.
I saw that post. I was confused.
A little confused, right?
Because nobody asked. Right? I mean, usually you got to, someone's, wondering. I don't think anybody was really wondering about that. It was awful at Florida State.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So, and then you were so pot committed to him, too, you couldn't go in a different direction.
So what does he think is going to happen now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I don't know, man. See, there's look at Josh Allen, Casey. You had Josh Allen play at Wyoming. I mean, if you go back to his, I think it was his senior year or junior year, the numbers were nothing.
Right.
But, you saw, I guess, the potential. I'm sure he had a great pro day. I can't remember if he went to the combine or not. But, you saw potential there. And this is what NFL people do. They see potential. They draft you sometimes based off potential and not what the numbers, not what your record says. You have and to echo Killer Tofu's point here, yeah, at least Josh Allen, he was mobile, you saw athleticism. DJU is a certain type of quarterback that I feel isn't going to fit to every single NFL system. If you put Josh Allen in an NFL team, Casey, he immediately bumps that team up.
Right.
Right? DJU, not so much.
No.
So, I mean, he has another year left, yeah? At least another year.
I believe so, yeah.
So, why wouldn't you, obviously you're not going to work at Florida State, but why wouldn't you transfer someplace else and, try to increase your stock? Because I'm going to be honest, will he get drafted?
No.
So what are we doing then?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm looking at the stats for all of the places he's played. Now, 58% completion.
Yeah.
That ain't working when you don't got anything else going for it. He does not move. He had negative rushing yards this season.
Yeah.
I mean, he moved early in his college career, but that was, 5 years ago at this point.
Sure. And it's not like you're playing at, Wyoming. You're playing at a pretty known university that didn't reach any kind of expectations this year.
Yeah, bro is just not cut out for it. So yeah, no, I don't think he gets drafted. I don't understand the point. I think the post should have been I'm going to get on with my life.
Yeah.
Whatever his diploma is in, I'm going to try to pursue that. That's what my post should have been. I'm off to banking, or I'm off to accounting, or spreadsheets, or media, not I'm off to the NFL. But I guess he could be somebody's scout team quarterback. I don't know.
I wanna announce that Enterprise Rent a Car is gonna get a real one here, and they give me all the tools to be. No, I mean I hear you. I don't understand. I mean, first of all, dude made bank in NIL, so more power to him, man.
Which
made
is
some
still
money.
Such a wild thing.
Well, that's the way that it goes now. But
I know.
what do you have to lose by transferring someplace else? I still understand it.
Nothing. I would say
unless someone told them like, hey man, like I get Florida State didn't work out, but like I'm hearing these things and like they like what you bring to the table. You got good size, got some arm strength. Like maybe that's the narrative. I have no idea.
Ugh, not good.
I don't know, man.
But shout out to him, his college career in the books, and it was definitely a career.
It was an experience, that's for sure.
Yep.
Casey, getting back to before we got to break, it was like an hour and 30 minutes. Didn't take a break, but you think defensive tackle then? I mean, listen, I know we're going for wide receiver now, so we can get a Ruth Chris dinner out of Brent Martineau.
Yeah, for sure.
But you thinking defensive tackle or defensive end? What are you thinking?
Probably. Like, here's the thing: you can't really get rid of Eric Armstead. I think, no matter if it's new regime or old, like you have to pay him to go away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's an argument, and I've done this a couple years in a row now. I think there's an argument to be made for you should draft a corner. He plays right away.
Yeah.
If you think the kid from Michigan is that good, which who knows if they do, who knows who's even making the pick at this point, but like that's someone that plays for you right away. And I think there could be an argument to be made there. I thought they could have done it the last couple of years when they drafted Anton Harrison. I thought they could have done it. When they drafted last year, I thought they could have done it. They still haven't. And as you've seen, their corner play has not been good.
No, it has not been. And it's funny because we talk about, we talk about Houston, their defense and everything. Well, a lot of that had to do, too, with their cornerback play. It's pretty good that they drafted in the, Derek Stingley Jr. is one of the best right now.
Right.
And
they picked him third, I think.
Well, yeah, because Sauce went before him, right, though? Didn't Sauce go before?
I think Sauce was right. I think Sauce was
Sauce
fourth.
went after. That's right.
Third or fourth, yeah.
Stingley Jr. went before Sauce.
Yep.
By the way, I'm not sure who'd rather have now, Sauce or Stingley.
Stingley's been good.
Sauce got off. I mean, Sauce was the best cornerback arguably yet last year, but now he's kind of, unless Mac Jones is throwing him, punts.
Fair.
I feel like he's kind of fallen off a little bit.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
you'd be happy with both.
Yeah, I mean, the way that it looks, Casey, you can get probably the best defensive tackle, the best corner, who you think is the best corner, best defensive tackle, or the best edge. Now, I don't even know who the best corners are considered.
Will Johnson from Michigan.
Michigan's got some dogs, huh?
Yeah, Michigan's got
2 defensive tackles, right?
Yeah, they've got 3 or 4 defensive players that'll get drafted in the first round. They could not win football games.
Except Ohio State when it mattered the most.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hear Brent's argument on the edge because you do need other options if someone were to get hurt. But again, I think you need help at corner. You need help at defensive tackle. My concern with defensive tackle would be are you going to get him on the field? Because you've shown this year that you're not going to get your second-round pick on the field. And I understand if it's a different coach, different mindset, sure. But I go back to what I said last year and for multiple years. You have to play these people.
Yes.
You can't draft them and sit them like they've done for years. And the one person that's definitely 100% getting on the field is a corner.
Correct.
I think we can agree.
Yeah, and in terms of number of reps, it'd probably be the corner.
Yeah.
Right? I think it goes corner.
Or receiver.
Because
I think if you're drafting a guy, you're getting him on the field. Now, what does that mean for
How?
Gabe Davis?
What does it look like, though, Casey? No, see, I don't think. I mean, okay, then we're going to have Gabe Davis on the bench? Are you getting ready to Christian? Let's go down this road. Because, listen, I'm with you. I think if you get another stud wide receiver in here, I'm excited. Right? I think Trevor Lawrence is excited. I get all of it because offensive line's pretty much short up at this point, which is wild to me, but it really is. Okay. So then if that's the case, what do you do? How are you going to move it around? Do you let Kirk go? Do you try to trade Kirk? I'm not sure how much he's going to generate.
I think Kirk is actually. I know Kirk. You owe Kirk some money.
Yeah,
but Kirk's I think the one that would make sense because if you draft either of those 2 receivers, they're on the outside with Thomas on the other side.
Yep.
Kirk makes sense in the slot, in my opinion.
Now, Brent, did you walk to Starbucks to get a coffee? Or
dude? We thought you quit.
Hey, did you walk to Starbucks? People were asking for wrestling talk, and we were this close to going down that road. So you just let us know.
I quit.
Okay.
I quit for a minute, then came back.
Okay.
I was talking to Ellis when you go get coffee and you get stopped by the bosses in the hallway, you kind of get stuck a little bit.
Yeah, bosses who don't obviously watch the show that know the show's going on right now.
Well, he did, but I was just
I bet they did.
You guys are fine.
I bet they did. Yeah. Big fans.
Jags talk is boring this time of year. You should all just start talking wrestling. What are we going to do for the next 6 months after the season?
I don't know, man. But to prove his point, too, Jesse the Body Ventura is killing it. I know. Remember Jesse the Body, Brent?
Yeah.
He's
what
got
is he
that.
talking about though?
So there's a thing called WWE Main Event.
Okay.
Whereas on Saturdays, and it's more of like I watched like literally like the first. I probably seen like 15 minutes of it so far. I had to still get to it, but it's like stripped down. It's kind of like the old school nostalgia thing, and then you got Jesse the Body. Just he's a very intense individual and can kind of like cuss and stuff. It's cool.
It's good though.
Oh man, I'm still waiting to. By the way, speaking of Jesse the Body Ventura, I think we're almost to the point now, Brent. This is Shock Your Mock 2. Yep, coming up. This isn't really on the point of football or anything, but did you ever have like one of those coming of age movies that you watched with your pops or with a family member? Where it's like, all right, you're old enough now, you can handle it. Let's watch this movie. Casey, feel free to chime in here. Okay, so when I was a kid, the movie Predator with Jesse the Body Ventura, like my stepdad introduced me to it, and it was like, I think you're old enough to handle it. I'm like, okay, and like he turns it on, dude. You want to talk about just Arnold and 15 dudes just juiced to the gills on steroids with all the machine guns, and then Jesse the Body Ventura with his minigun, all painless, just shooting things down, man. And then Billy got his arm chopped off, and that was really graphic. And I was like, man, I'm not sure if I can handle this, but I'm gonna keep on watching it. And then Billy takes the machete and cuts his chest open, and I'm like 8 years old. I'm not sure if this is a good idea for me to be watching, but I'm still in tuned. Yeah, man, like that movie.
I don't have one because
it was Predator for me. And like I'm getting to the point where I'm like, man, I want to show my son Predator. He's 9. I think he can handle it. I took him to see the rated R Demon Slayer movie. He's seen Deadpool 3. All right.
I was gonna say, did he get over that? How did he handle that days later?
Which one? The Demon Slayer or Deadpool?
I think it was Deadpool.
Yeah, he's good. Now he'll come up from behind all the time and like act like he's sticking a knife in my neck because there's a scene where there's like a little baby knife and he goes, baby knife, and then he like punches me in the neck like he's stabbing me. That's not cool. But besides that, yeah, he's handling it well.
Everything else pretty good.
Yeah, you're good. Casey, you got one of those movies?
No.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned about the knife thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little baby knife.
Under control.
The movie with my pop, Scorpion
King. Wow.
I don't think I have a movie with my pops.
No?
I don't think so.
You don't got one, man? Whereas like,
I'm trying to think like, would Ty have one? Like, I don't think so. Because I'm not a movie guy. But that doesn't help, does
not
it?
like, a baseball movie. Like, I think a good one would be Major League.
Yeah, that would be good.
But no? Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I get it.
Anybody in the chat, feel free to help me out because I'm by myself here on an island.
I want you guys to, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah.
I don't know actors, right?
Okay.
But I know he looks like one right now at 70. Who is that?
Oh, that's Larry David.
Larry David. That's right. Larry David. He looks exactly like Larry David.
You're a mess, dude.
What do you mean I'm a mess? Austin's
not going to agree with you.
No, I'm not going to lie. Casey, you got to see it. The fact that because I'm a giant Larry David fan.
No, the fact you don't know Larry David is the problem.
Oh, okay.
No, well, I knew I wasn't going to know his name.
Mr. Pico Boulevard Showgirls, yeah.
I think we saw Larry David in L.A.
Saved
across
by
the
Bell?
street.
Yeah.
You did.
Wait, you saw?
No, I think we did.
When?
No,
what?
When we were in L.A.
You didn't say. Oh, Brent.
No, we were in L.A. like.
Larry David's like my spirit animal.
We've been in L.A. a couple of times in the last couple of years. Went to the Rams game. The kids came out. Steph came out, and we were driving. And I was like, I think, and I had to look him up because I didn't know Larry David's name at the time. But I was just like, I know who that is.
Yeah. Dude, Larry David's the man, by the way.
Yeah, but doesn't he look like Larry David?
Looks exactly like Larry David. But here's the crazy thing. I am such a big Larry David fan, and obviously I know Jesse the Body Ventura. The fact that I've never made that connection and you have, like, man, props to you.
I know, and Casey's still killing me just for not knowing the name. I mean, I thought the connection was good enough.
Yeah,
Larry David's not even really an actor. He's more of like a writer, but yeah, that's fine.
Well, true. He's more like a personality, I guess.
That's a good way to put it.
Basic instinct. Hey, Mr. Pico Boulevard, pump the gas a little bit. Here, son, this is Sharon Stone. Yeah, no, I think we're all set. I'll let him check that one out on his own. Gladiator's a good one, though, too. I did watch Gladiator with my stepdad as well. Oh, man, that was insane.
So Gladiator 2.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet? Wait, are you not interested?
I've heard mixed things about it. I feel like it's like the sequel that nobody asked for. Like, I don't know, what 20 years later, hey, let's go ahead and make a remake of it with Denzel, and like, I'm good.
Very similar to the DJU NFL draft post. Nobody asked.
Yeah, nobody asked. Brent, we want to get your thoughts about that.
Somebody said, I saw something this morning. I don't like hammering these guys, but I thought this one was funny. Somebody retweeted that DJU to the draft and said the quote tweet was, "I'd like to declare that I'm dating Sydney Sweeney."
Not that you're actually doing it, but you'd like to declare that you would be one day. I like that.
What would you like to declare as well?
I like that.
That's wild. I guess you can try to see what happens in the NFL draft.
Got a bunch of degenerates.
I think I saw Porky's before 13, by the way. I really remember seeing Porky's. That was like my introduction to life, I think.
See, like
Omen, what's Omen? Do I know that?
Oh, it's Damon, right? Damien, the kid. Yeah, kids, man.
It shocks me, Brent, by the way, that you know who Sydney Sweeney is.
I just saw the tweet this morning.
Dude, did you watch?
That was the first time you knew who she was.
No, her name's popped up everywhere.
Yep.
The one that like sticks out to me that I didn't watch my stepdad. I wish I would have watched it all as a child. Was The Exorcist.
Do you wish you did or didn't?
I did not watch it. I didn't need to see that as a kid.
The scariest one that I saw as a kid was like Poltergeist.
That one's good. Yep, they're here. Yep.
And then obviously you graduate to The Shining, and then. It stops. And then it stops, quite frankly, because when you see The Shining, it's like, I don't want to see another one.
See, here's the thing. The Shining is funny. I love The Shining. Jack Nicholson, just mwah.
Unbelievable.
But The Shining is funny because as a kid, like, I didn't get what was happening. Obviously, it's just like a bunch of just random, like, all right, here's a blood door. Oh, here's two girls in the hallway looking creepy. But, like, the older, like, I watch it now. Like, I watch it, like, in college, and I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, I can kind of relate to Jack Nicholson a little bit, trying to get some work done. Wife's always in his grill. Hey, let me write this novel. Leave me alone. I get it.
The wildest part about old horror movies is like they can make stuff a billion times scarier now.
I know.
But yet the old horror movies are the ones people go back to.
Halloween is still, like, holds up. Like the original Michael Myers Halloween.
That's
it's like the music, it's like the ambiance. Like, that's the perfect horror flick.
Yeah, that's a good observation. The Sydney Sweeney stuff, by the way, just to back
Let's go.
back to that.
All right.
I really will. I've heard her name, seen her name like a ton of times.
You seen her?
I mean, I think I've seen her in pictures, but that's why
you would know. You wouldn't have to think.
Yeah, you remember.
But that's the thing, right? Who's who's the ring girl?
Oh, I don't know her name. I know you're talking about, though.
So I'm not confusing the two, right?
You're not confusing the two.
Okay.
When it comes to pop culture,
the ring girl was only she was like 20 years old.
Why is she? Why are we all about the ring girl? By the way, I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, I saw her. Okay.
You've been on the internet? Like, connect the two dots.
I guess, man. Okay. But like, I feel like no disrespect to her, but like, I feel like a lot of girls probably look like that.
Well, I know.
But she's featured on the Jake Paul card, so we got to talk about it.
Well, not only that, but there were 67 million people watching
That's a good point.
it, right?
That's a good
so,
point.
I mean, it was a little bit different.
Yeah.
than whoever runs across whatever else.
Hammy's Burner's getting real close to getting banned, just saying.
And we're living in a world, by the way, where OnlyFans did like $60 billion in
Tell me about it.
So I think I get why it's a thing.
I saw an article with a girl I've never heard of before. She made she cleared 60 million. Never even heard of her.
It's unbelievable.
And I'm saying like she's not even like a celebrity, like where she's like a former actress and she became. No, you just literally just whatever, and now $60 million. I'm going to consider it. I think. I don't know.
Did you see the?
It's not going to go that well for you, dog.
We'll see.
I saw a write up. It's not going to go.
You challenging me?
I saw a write-up.
Is that a challenge? I'll do it right now.
They said one person, whoever made a ton, whatever they were talking about, made a ton of money.
Yep.
On OnlyFans.
A-Train.
They said one person gave this one woman $4.7 million alone.
That's like how it happens.
That's a problem.
He's probably like a prince or something, like in a different country. I would hope.
That's a problem.
Man.
Really? You think?
It's like, this is like the new, it's like Pretty Woman, right? Pretty Woman online.
Oh, man.
It's unbelievable. Okay. Let's talk about that.
I mean, the chat's on fire right now, so we might want to keep this going. Try to break a new chat stream record.
I don't know what we want to do.
Here I thought the Doug Peterson, press conferences were doing numbers in the chats, but apparently OnlyFans is what the people want.
Well, that's
Clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
$60 million. You just said it.
$60 million.
$1 billion or whatever the industry is right now.
What a
Brent
good idea.
Austen, what a great time to go to a break. We got to catch up on some.
Before the boss is coming.
Only because
You just got here, Brent. What do you mean?
Yeah, Brent, you want to stay a little while? You got to go to another
I'm going
meeting.
to go heat up my coffee a little bit.
There you
again.
go.
It was tea this time, by the way.
Are we still off coffee?
I got only a couple of them. I went back on for 2 a day in the morning because it was actually pretty good to have a couple in the morning.
Sure.
So I'm just off the 6 coffees a day and now just to 2.
Spoken like a true addict. Yeah, I stopped drinking vodka. I drink some beer every once in a while, but it's actually not that bad. It's got carbs and it's good for you. Like, dude, you might have an issue.
Well, I mean, I had a coffee issue. I think going from 6 to 2 is pretty good.
It's not bad. But I thought we were off that. I thought we were doing our cayenne pepper water.
Yeah, I haven't done the cayenne pepper enough.
Dude just quit. Okay, cool.
I got to get in a better routine.
Dude just said we're all good.
All right, we'll be back on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Don't forget Action Sports Jacks prime time Saturday and Sunday all year long. 52 weeks of them. 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. There are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Right now, save 10% off a new Rinnai tankless water heater. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Here on Spring Sports Media Day on Action Sports Jacks.
It's an opportunity, an education beyond the classroom and the sports arena. Life skills, testing skills, social skills. It's called High School 912, a program focused on maximizing the growth of students in academics, sports, and life. And here's your chance to get involved. If you're a local business, or if you just want to make a donation to help support programs like ACT and SAT boot camps, career days, Leadership Academy, Financial Literacy Academy, and so much more.
All right, another Nice High School Panther, Jack Cool.
High School 912 supports and hosts high school sporting events, and several media days throughout the year. For more information on how you can get involved, visit jackshighschool912.com.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Springs, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, quite frankly, that was an interesting 5-minute timeout.
Unbelievable.
That was the most interesting conversation of the year.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if the mics would have been on, we would have been escorted out of here. So I'm glad that wasn't the case.
Well, I don't know if it was that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was just, it was.
I was actually being educated.
It was educational.
Educated on like, how does this OnlyFans even work?
How does it work?
Because I just see it on my timeline on social media, right? Because I think the only reason I
shouldn't admit to that. That's an algorithm.
That's true. No, the only reason I see that people make money off the OnlyFans stuff is because I think of Barstool. Are they connected with Barstool in any way?
No, sir.
Or do they just kind of Barstool pushes all
Casey,
that stuff out?
Do they have like, what was the really popular show with those two girls? Like, were they? I don't know, man. I'm so out of the game. Like, wasn't there like a popular show with Barstool Sports that kind of had a falling out? Like,
Call
were
Her
they?
Daddy?
Maybe. Were they OnlyFans or not?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean that's the only reason I say like I know people are making money off the OnlyFans.
No,
thing.
for sure.
But I honestly did not know that you could do like there's other things on there. You say comedy and other things.
Yeah, there's comedy. I mean, I train with a guy who does MMA. He's not in the UFC, but he's like at a different promotion. He's on OnlyFans.
That's wild.
And he makes $60,000 a year.
So we could really just put our show on OnlyFans.
I think so.
Or do they have to want our show on OnlyFans?
Well, I mean, like I think you put anything on OnlyFans now. Is it going to make you sad when nobody buys it? I might feel it could hurt the ego a little bit. No, but maybe maybe I take the shirt off and glisten up the muscles a little bit, and then we see what happens.
It's like what I say though about.
Tell me I can't be successful on OnlyFans, Casey. Tell me one more time and see what happens.
I don't think you could do as well as some others.
Well, give me some others.
I don't think you'd make $1 million on OnlyFans.
Probably not. No.
But I don't even think you get to 60,000.
That dude's making 60,000.
Casey, I can get $60,000.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. First of all, I don't think fights off.
I don't think the station would be happy about us being associated with OnlyFans.
First of all, I'm a freelancer, so it's time to deal with it. So tell them to deal with it because you kind of got to. Yeah, you have no jurisdiction. You have no jurisdiction with me, Brent. I'm a freelancer.
That's true.
Yeah. If I want to go to OnlyFans right now,
that key card.
I will stop watching animal videos right now, make up an OnlyFans account, and watch them do something about it. Ain't gonna happen.
No, Mr. Pico, I did not know that the guy who directed Porky's also directed A Christmas Story. But that is a pretty wide range.
Really? Huh.
That's some good trivia right there.
Yeah.
All right. See what happens when we're just playing out the string here in Jacksonville?
Do you see what happens when you lose in peace? We got nothing to talk about.
This is what happens when you lose in peace. This is better.
Eric Armstead, start liking something quick so we can, get on you again.
Hey, a couple of things. You mentioned Conor McGregor. Speaking of UFC, he's not coming back anytime soon. He's going to fight Logan Paul instead. Is he? Well, you talk about dragging this thing out forever. When was the last time McGregor even fought?
I think it's been 4 years now.
He might not fight again. You think he fights again?
I mean, I don't know. Was
his last fight the broken leg?
Was Obama in office? His last UFC fight was the broken leg, yeah.
Wow.
Actually, Hamby Burner is right. Now that we just talked about this the whole time.
Your algorithm
he admitted 4 times and it kept coming up on his timeline. Like, I don't want to see bro's search history.
You can see. I'll show it to you. It's
I don't
not
want to
anything
see
I don't
it,
even know
dog.
how it works.
You're seeing what you need to see.
No, but now that we've said it, it's going to pop up on my social media all the time, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Can you eliminate that?
No, it's a cell phone. You can't. What are you gonna do?
Unless you stop talking.
Are you gonna send an email?
I didn't even think about that.
You gonna send an email to the Apple executives and say, "Can you please?"
Well, I think on Twitter you can say you're not interested in this post, and so then
Maybe.
it will eliminate.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, you can like block it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of be like. Then they won't send you the feeds
for
of that
sure.
stuff.
Also took you 4 months to get verified though, but it's all good.
His last fight
it took him so much.
was 2021.
2021.
Wow.
And it was the broken leg.
Yeah. So, I mean, Casey can speak on this because he's a giant Logan Paul guy as well, if you ever listen to Scrap House. But yeah, it's rumors. Because here's what I don't get, though. Conor McGregor still has 2 more fights on his UFC contract.
Oh, okay.
So I have a hard time believing Dana's going to go, unless I guess Dana's like Zuffa, which is like his promotion company. I guess if they have the banner for the fight where they can promote it, but I don't think Logan Paul would be on board with that. Whatever. Nevertheless, I have a hard time believing Dana White's just going to go, oh yeah, Conor, go have fun, do something else, make a lot of money, but don't do it for my company.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to let them do that.
Unless Dana White is the one promoting it. Casey, your thoughts?
It doesn't. I'm reading through it right now. It doesn't look like Dana's the one their company's putting it on.
That ain't going to happen.
Well, the part that confuses me is like, why is it? It's supposed to be in India.
Okay, so yeah, here's the thing about that. So maybe this is the loophole. It's considered like an exhibition match.
Yes.
So it's not an official sanctioned match. And by my understanding, I think like some wealthy family or like some prince is gonna pay him a ridiculous amount of money to do this, Casey.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, Logan's gonna knock him out cold.
But no, there's the thing. If it's an I bet it's just gonna be. I mean, I don't say scripted, but I bet it'll be scripted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other one, the Tyson one was Jake, right?
match.
This is Logan.
Yeah, Jake's the actual boxer.
Okay.
Logan's the guy that's in wrestling and everything too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting though. McGregor's a weird deal because he was so big, yet I feel like then he goes off the radar. Then he's like.
He's still huge.
I know he's still. He's like a big. Like he's the guy. He's still the name that kind of draws you into talking about it. Even though now you're like, all right, he is. That's why that's a great comparison.
He finds ways to stay relevant.
Feels a little Antonio Brownish.
It will.
Where he's gone off the deep end on it all. Like, so it's not real.
He's still the first person you think of when you think of UFC.
Yeah, I would say that's true. Well, not Austin. Austin's in it though. Like that's a different deal.
The first person you think of is who when you think of the UFC? Besides Dana.
I mean, honestly, just because he's so big right now is John Jones. But like, I would probably say Conor number 2.
Right?
Yeah.
And he hasn't fought and go with John Jones too. John Jones has fought once.
True.
In 3 years.
Yeah,
True.
And
But the only reason I say John Jones is because like everyone's talking about him again now, right? Because is he going to fight Tom Aspinall? Like Conor hasn't really been in a conversation because we know the story. Oh, he's supposed to fight Michael Chandler, and then backs out for whatever reason.
Is that a little bit of a problem for UFC though? That the 2 guys that people think of right away have one fight in the last 4 years combined?
I think a guy that's probably third on that list is Alex Pereira, and he's I don't want to say he's an up and comer because he's pre-established, but like he's still one of those dudes.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, like obviously you go back a few years now. You got the Rousey stuff, and then the McGregor stuff, and the John Jones stuff, and then you even have Khabib.
Yeah.
Right? And then he goes and retires, right? So, I mean, so you've lost, at least the you don't lose the name and you don't lose they stay in the spotlight, I guess, but they don't go to the cage.
No, but see, and this is the thing too, I guess we have to take into account here, because it's Endeavor, right? UFC and WWE are with the same, and you haven't really seen a lot of cross promotion, but you have seen UFC champions at WWE events. Like they showcased, this was like a couple months ago, Tom Aspinall like in the ring during a WWE event. Like he was the UFC guy.
Yeah.
Alex Pereira just there?
Alex Pereira was in the crowd. They highlighted.
Right.
They highlighted. Why can't I think of his name now? Bilal Muhammad.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's like considered like one of the most boring guys to watch, and they highlighted him. So one would wonder, okay, you got a guy from WWE, you got a guy from the UFC. some kind of like sports entertainment cross promotion kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and that's got a little bit of a feel of like kind of like Fox does with their All-Star Game, where they got the shows, the actors and stuff in the crowd, and they showcase it. So they've got that down. They understand it. They understand the entertainment side, the branding side, everything else. But I mean, from a true fight side, it's like, okay, let's go.
But it's sports entertainment. Key case, can you imagine like Logan Paul, because he's been out for a while, Brent, he comes back, right? And like maybe he challenges for the title again or something. And all of a sudden, here comes Conor McGregor. I want to box you in India or whatever with, for $15 million because someone's paying me that. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Sports entertainment.
Did you see Dana White's comments over the weekend? Said something like, I've got something cooking in 25 that nobody's even going to be able. Do you even have a guess?
No idea. No. I mean, the only thing I would guess.
I didn't see all the context. I just saw that.
Yeah. I mean, because the way that he made it sound like it's something we've never seen before. So it's like something, whether like it's an event at some like exotic venue, like you get to fight at the Coliseum. But like what I think he's referring to is Tom Aspinall taking on John Jones, and then I don't know, something on the undercard.
It was interesting because he was like, nobody will figure it out. Like, you guys wouldn't figure it out. Oh. And so, like, who knows?
UFC on OnlyFans.
Well, whatever he does usually works pretty well.
Super Bowl maybe or something, like have an event during this. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. You're pretty good at guessing the scripts of like the WWE and other things.
Oh, Brent, I've been on fire lately.
Yeah, pretty good, right? Yeah. So I didn't know if what's being thrown out there, but the way he put it is like nobody even who tries to guess this script is going to be able to figure out the script.
Yeah.
So whatever that means, I guess we'll wait and see. Mr. Pico delivering all the trivia today, right?
Huh.
We got the guy who played Predator was also Harry and the Hendersons.
Huh. That was my sack celebration. Didn't have a lot of them, but that was my sack celebration. Was the Predator.
Yeah. College football.
Let's get it.
That's a good transition.
Yeah.
Two things out of Florida State. You guys had mentioned DJ Uiagalelei going to declaring for the draft, but the other thing that happened at Florida State yesterday, kind of under the radar for us, was Mike Norvell handed back $4.5 million to the athletic department. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. And which is kind of interesting because he got more money last year when Alabama was after him. And so he gets the raise, and now it's almost like, hey, I'm going to give this back because we won 2 games.
Yeah.
It didn't go well, which I actually think that might be a great way to build a contract for some of these guys and not have as much turnover. But the bigger picture of this is he's investing back into the program with the NIL and everything else, which also is something that I think many of us have called on for a long time. Like, hey, you guys are making so much money. You make the investment in your own program. And remember Steve Spurrier and I think even Dabo and some others were talking about, hey, if we got to pay guys to play, we can take it out of this, or we can do, some of those kind of things were bantered about. This reminds me of that. You don't see this very often, but some of it to me feels a little based on performance.
Yeah.
And some of it's an investment back into your own program because let's be honest, Mike Norvell's not going anywhere. Like, he had to just revamp his staff. They got to revamp this thing again. He had a $64 million buyout, I think it was, going into or coming out of this season. So they weren't moving on from him. They were stuck with him based on the new contract. And now this looks like kind of a good gesture on his part. So I kind of like it. If you're a guy at Florida State fans text me and they're excited about it. They kind of like, hey, that's really cool. So that's shows you that the perception of it really works.
So does that money go just to every athletic program?
No.
Or okay.
Yeah, it's just like to feed their NIL.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys see the other story? And I don't know where this landed, but Sacramento State, Mike Vick.
Yeah, Mike Vick.
So we went from yesterday. We talked about this. It was Norfolk that he was interviewing with. Of course, he's from Virginia, but he ends up landing a job at Sacramento State. And then Schefter was reporting that Sacramento State had built like a $50 million pool of NIL money and everything else to go compete and maybe make a transition, I think it was, to the Mountain West. And, or maybe, are they already in the Mountain West? Whatever, to a conference. And then you had a guy like Doug Gottlieb come out and be like, what are you talking about? It's like they don't have $50 million. People started questioning. I don't know where this has landed, but it was a little crazy. He's like, wait a minute, Sacramento State? Who do they have is able to get $50 million. But I thought it was an interesting, let's just say it's true. And I don't know where it's landed, if it's true or not.
Bro, they have Tom Hanks.
Is that who they have?
Yeah, Tom Hanks went to Sacramento State.
See, but that's kind of my point.
It's quite the booster.
That's my point, Casey. Is like we wondered in this era of NIL and how much money matters and all this stuff, if you would get a player, meaning the college player, that doesn't usually perform on the landscape that we've grown accustomed to.
Yeah.
And Sacramento State certainly is not one. You wouldn't even know they were Division I, right?
I did not know.
But
no, not at all.
If they've got deep pockets for whatever reason, can they make the climb? Can you get Wake Forest all of a sudden because they want to commit? Can they all of a sudden become a household name like the Clemsons and Ohio States and everybody else? But here comes out of the blue a team like Sacramento State that might be able to pay players. Now you're playing a different game, and that's what we wondered if it would open up to.
And they have Creed Bratton.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing.
So you got some big players.
Here's why I wish I wouldn't have Lester Holt too as well. Sacramento State. So yeah, obviously typed in because we're on the topic. Most famous alumni from Sacramento State. Number 1, Tom Hanks. Number 2, a girl by the name of Caden Cross. Didn't know who Caden Cross was. Googled her.
OnlyFans. Really?
Well, something like it, yeah. Maybe a little more graphic, but now I'm about to get a phone call from the IT department with some questions. I'm about to get an HR meeting. So I had no idea.
So
like I looked at her.
Second.
She's according to this list, she's second.
Yeah,
and
I saw the same thing.
Well, yeah, but I see the picture. Oh, she's an actress. What does she be? She's a beautiful looking woman. So I'm like, okay, have I ever seen anything with her? Sure haven't. Or maybe I have. I just didn't know. But
hey, according to Wikipedia, she's in the Halls of Fame.
Okay, so yeah, she's definitely a heavy hitter. Good for her, but didn't know.
So
poor Lester Holt, man. He's third on the list or fourth. He's behind us.
Lester Holt is third. Is Stephen Chung the singer? Who's Stephen Chung? Oh no, he's a political.
For the New England Patriots.
No, he's a. Stephen Chung's a political campaign guy.
They have a ton of alumni though. Like that.
Yeah, they're
I'm
actually
surprised. Like there's people that you've heard of.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So anyway, isn't that if they really do have this pot of money, which maybe because of this they do, and they could raise it and get it. Now they got a Michael Vick. Like, could they become a player? And now listen, I don't even know if Michael Vick's a good coach. Like, who knows? Yeah. But the point is, now all of a sudden you're going to get a little Dion effect, in a sense, to Sacramento State of all places.
Not a bad call.
That is wild. Like that's the world we're living in. We got to get used to that. Like that's a totally different deal than anybody would ever expect.
Caden Cross Stadium. Let's go.
That's a little bit like again on the unpredictable things. That's Belichick going to North Carolina.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted, speaking of one more thing on the NIL stuff.
Tom Hanks recovery room gymnasium, the Caden Cross Stadium. Let's go.
I sent you this guy, and a tweet. Mm-hmm. Micah Hudson's alleged NIL deal.
Shout out Micah Hudson.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
Apparently he had 8 receptions, 123 yards, and no touchdowns this year. But this is a little bit of the problem.
This kid, though, real quick, I mean, he was like the 12th recruit in the whole class last year.
He was a big-time recruit.
I have him on like 16 mini helmets if you guys are interested.
Oh, really? So you knew him.
Yeah,
it was a big deal.
He played in the Under Armour game last year in Orlando. That's when we got him.
So stock is a little low right now for Micah Hudson?
I was wondering why they weren't selling, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've sold a bunch of those, and Micah Hudson, no interest. I get it now.
I mean, this is incredible, though. Like, this is Texas Tech's deal with him.
Okay.
This is what it must have taken to get him. $700,000 minimum wire up front for 1-year deal.
Man.
Separate NIL deal for 3 cars for family members. Personal driver with Cadillac SUV for Micah from spring practice through the end of the season. Family hotel and travel arrangements paid each game with up to 10 members to have travel tickets cost paid for.
With up to 10? Brent can't even spot Casey on the road for the Super Bowl, let alone 10.
I did spot him.
I'm kidding.
Medical injury time off and playing after injury determined only by Micah and his family. Is this real?
That can't be real, Brent. Come on.
Well, I will say it was pretty surprising that he went there. So I think there was clearly something like this involved. Because he was supposed to go to Texas A&M.
Man, I can't wait till Ronan gets a little older.
I'll tell you what,
Brent, you need anything for the? Should we get something for the show? If Ronan gets bigger?
Yes.
We're going to Oregon. Casey needs something.
Oh, definitely.
All right, yeah. Go and make a list. I'll make sure to run it by.
I mean, here's where I come down. Again, this is going to kind of like it'll get off my lawn part of this.
It won't because it's the truth.
But this, you know, I hammer for this stuff. The presidents of these universities. How can the presidents of these universities allow this kind of stuff to happen? Like, they shouldn't be president of the university if these kind of deals are happening. Again, I mean, that was floating around. I don't know even how real it is. I mean, who knows if it's like to the T, right? But the bottom line is, I'm not surprised if it is. Like, we're in a world right now where we're not that surprised if some of these things are happening to this degree. Was the Michigan one $10.5 million?
Yeah.
$10.5 million
the
for the QB?
Yep.
But I mean, this is crazy. Like, yours going to Michigan State, they're like, hey, we'll give you $4 million.
Yeah. But here's the thing I don't understand. Like, this isn't like Ohtani, where you invest in him and like look at how much you're getting back out of the investment, because like he's like a global phenomenon. True. So like, yeah, you paid all this money, record-setting contract at the time, but now it's like, yeah, it made sense. It was investment. Like, is this guy really worth that? I mean, if you take into all account, once again, if those demands are really real, I mean, that's got to be a couple million. So if that's the case, like, is it worth spending a couple million on a wide receiver that probably isn't going to elevate you to national championship? Probably going to elevate you to like must-see primetime television. Is it worth it then?
Well, he did transfer.
He did transfer where?
To Texas A&M. That was where he was going to go in the first place.
Oh, so now he went from Texas Tech to Texas A&M?
Yes, he was supposed to go to Texas A&M the whole time. The Texas Tech thing came out of nowhere, which is why I believe this to be true.
Then.
And now is at Texas A&M, and I've got 16 Texas Tech mini helmets. So,
oh, you had him. Damn, Casey.
That was just leg work, right? Sweat work for you.
I'll just switch them Texas A&M logos, but
okay. Is the helmet black?
Texas A&M has a black alternate. Yeah.
I love the hustle, man. Oh, it's unreal.
Crazy.
It's so crazy.
The fact that you knew who he was, like, I mean, the guy had 120 yards receiving this year.
Oh, yeah.
So what, is it just like a lack? He's not that. I don't get it. Like, how do you go from getting that to not being productive? Was he hurt or was okay?
Yeah, maybe he got hurt or maybe they just weren't very good. I don't even know. But again, if those kind of deals are happening, like this is all on the presidents, and again, it's on the hierarchy anyway where we're at. And what they're going to allow things to get away with. This is a very unique thing, even if it is somewhat real. But I got to kind of feel like they got to put a max on even some of like the Michigan deal. Like, you can't get to $12 million. Can you get some regulations here where a guy can't make more than $3 million or something like that? Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but that's why they have these GMs coming in too, is to figure out these kind of deals. So this is not unrealistic stuff. I think it's fascinating now. Like, you'll see press releases, and they'll be like, so-and-so signs whoever. And we're not talking about just National Signing Day.
Yeah.
It's like a transfer portal guy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess you technically still sign a transfer portal guy, but it actually sounds like a true acquisition. Like, it's a transactional thing, like he came over in free agency from the Atlanta Falcons to the Jaguars. So it even like feels like it anymore, like that they're just not shying away. This is no hidden thing now that it's free agency at its best. Let's take a time out. We are way behind them, so we'll get back, put a bow on this show in just a little bit. A couple more things to get to on a Tuesday, and it's cleared out in Jacksonville. That fog or whatever it was burned off. Looks like a pretty nice day.
Nice.
It's going to be in the mid-70s today.
I'm not going to lie. That looks like AI a little bit right there. That doesn't look real. It's a beautiful looking day, Brent.
Nice day in the River City.
Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants.
We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter.
Right now, save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices or pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Somehow this conversation was going from football to other things to parenthood here in the break today.
As my computer's completely corrupted and I need someone to wash it immediately.
Sesnick will lead you in here.
Sesnick.
We want this all happened live. We were all here.
Code red.
Nothing was nothing illegal.
Code red.
But we don't think
Casey, someone shared your same
That's literally what I said.
Casey Kurt said the exact same thing during the break.
Wait a minute. Is Casey and Mr. Pico, are they the same
Wait
people?
a second.
We're not.
No, because I feel like Mr. Pico's a giant Brewers fan. I know Casey doesn't like the Brewers. Well, I mean, you don't despise them, but you're a Rays guy.
I was thinking about you today on the Rays. What is the latest on the stadium deal? Are they? I think it came back, right? They're going to get this thing done?
Well, they, I think it's Pinellas approved, so now it has to, and they actually did approve, so now it has to go through one more thing. So now it's looking somewhat positive again, but it's not done. It's a mess, Brent.
So, okay, as a Rays fan, do you think it's going to get done?
I think most Rays fans do, but remember, it's me, so I say no just because I just feel like that's what would happen.
Yeah.
That'd be a very Rays thing to happen.
You brought up a topic, today's show, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts stuff.
Yeah.
Get back to football. And I think like your idea is calling people out a good thing. Well, and I think where you're going to go, I'm going to put words in your mouth, but you go back to like Dan Campbell and golf. You bring that up quite a bit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We just saw Raheem Morris do it to Kirk Cousins. We'll see if he bounces back now. And then you get it with the A.J. Brown stuff, and they perform pretty well. Now, Brown got hurt in the game, but they performed well.
But here's the difference, though. And this is why I thought it was an interesting topic. You have coaches doing it, and you have guys that weren't playing really well. I feel like the A.J. Brown claims came more out of just you wanted better numbers because your team only lost 2 games.
That's right.
So what are you really complaining about?
Really selfishly motivated.
Like, I mean, you think Dan Campbell's going to go, yeah, Jared Goff, you got to play better. Yeah, we're 11-2, but you got to play better. Like, you can't really do that. Like, if you're at the top of your division, top of the conference, it's hard to justify, I feel like, calling somebody out, saying they have to play better, especially when you're a player, not even a coach. So, last week, I was on the show saying, like, hey, A.J. Brown, just relax. You guys are dominating. You're a great football team. Like, why are you trying to cause controversy? Why are you trying to drum up stuff? Well, now in hindsight, you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are a good team in their own right, pretty solid defense, and you have one of your best offensive showings in terms of passing in the entire year. So was there some claims to what A.J. Brown was saying?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just coincidence or if there's validity to it. I mean, I think the one thing about when you call anybody out or bring something to the surface, or what I would say is you have an uncomfortable conversation, you feel better a lot of times when you're done with the conversation. It eats at you. You can't sleep, right? You're like, I don't know if I want to do this or talk about this. I don't, like, at least for me, like, I don't like to be confrontational or all those things.
Sure.
But you're like, hey, you got to have the conversation. You have the conversation, you almost feel relieved and better, and it kind of sets. So if these guys have been feeling a little bit of that, once it got out there, once actually Brandon Graham put it out there, it was like, well, at least that's, and it took a little bit of tension off us because now Graham is the guy that's getting a little bit of heat, and then you got to fix it, and Sirianni's going to fix it, everybody's going to fix it. That means you talk it out. So these things that kind of slowly bubble, it's not that big, but it's big enough. Now you feel better about it. So is that why they play better? Because the tension goes, or the other thing is the focus is on it, right? Now the focus is on it in a different way. This is what I've said a little bit all year about the Jags. Sure, the Jags have been trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Like Foye Lukin said last night, he's like, okay, well, we're in week 14. It's like we have tried to figure everything out, right? I mean, if we're not making plays now, it's not because we haven't tried to figure it out.
Yeah.
We've tried to figure it out.
Sure.
But they never did this. Never really pointed fingers. Always stayed together. Doug was coy and sometimes terrible in front of a mic, not maybe effusive enough in his praise or even his criticism. He was somewhere in the middle. He was left for interpretation all the time. So would it have been better at the course of this year at some point? The only guy that really did this, and I think it was squashed real quick, was Andre Sisco when he called him out for quitting.
Yeah.
And that was really just hampered down in London, no problem. Like, it wasn't a big deal. It would, and we said this coming out of that week, would it have been better if it was a big deal?
Yeah.
And maybe in hindsight, Austin, the answer to that is yes. It would have been better if it was a big deal.
Yeah. But, I mean, okay, let me ask you this then. Let's put it in the Jaguars side, okay? And I get it's not comparable because one team is really good and one team's not so good right now. But, like, same thing. Let's say Evan Ingram, a guy who's pretty respected in NFL circles, who has established himself as a go-to guy. Let's say Evan Ingram comes out and says, our passing game sucks. I'm open. I'm not getting the ball. Trevor Lawrence has to be better. Are we going to say, yeah, Evan Ingram, good for you? That's what needs to be said? Or are we going to try to defend Trevor Lawrence and say, hey, he's trying his best. It's just, it's a nightmare right now.
I think we're going to make a big deal of it.
Of course we will.
Make a big deal.
But I'm saying, whose side are we taking here?
Well,
are we just going to say that the locker room is a mess?
I think we would say all of those. I think some people would say, Casey's like, yeah, Ingram's right, man. Get him the damn ball. He's on my fantasy team. I'd be like, hey, easy, dude. I mean, Trevor's not even getting enough time, or maybe the coach. And then we're all going to be like, man, the locker room's in trouble.
Yeah.
But the point is, we just did that in Philadelphia for the last week. We even were talking about it, and it didn't impact them in a negative way.
True.
So the Jags staying together, not saying any of that, hey, we're all good, hey, we're all good, hey, we're all good. Guess what? You're not. Like, you're not good. Maybe that's what we asked for. We needed somebody in the Jags locker room this year to throw the Gatorade thing.
Yeah.
Jug.
Yeah.
You know? That's what we kept saying multiple times. And like, who's going to do it? Who's the guy that's going to do it? Wait, don't really have that guy. Cam Robinson's traded away now. Not really the personality of these guys. I thought Evan Ingram could be a guy to do that, but he was hurt for a 4-week stretch when you thought they might do that.
You know who it should have been? Shad Khan. Seriously.
I mean,
I told you guys this was the best team I ever assembled.
Maybe.
Here comes the Gatorade jug.
Maybe.
That would have been cool.
So I think, and again, you don't know how that's going to play out. You've been on many teams.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And there are many times if you're like a coach or something like that, or teams that you've been on, doesn't matter where you've been, you're like, I don't know how this is going to work. This is going to be a little risky. It's risky, but I'm going for it. And, And the Jags.
I went through that in Chicago with Martellus Bennett and Kyle Fuller. When Martellus Bennett almost paralyzed Kyle Fuller in a fight. Yeah.
But I think people think about this from a sports psychology standpoint, too, and what's going to work. The Jags never, at least that we know of, now maybe they did behind closed doors and we don't know of, ever got to that point. And I think, I don't know how you manufacture it. Right? I don't know how you do that. But they never did that. And look, it seems like it's working out pretty well. Raheem Morris calls out Kirk Cousins. We'll see if he plays better. But I guarantee he does. Now, he can't play much worse.
Oh, I hope he does. Because when Hamby comes back one day, he's going to have to answer for all that Kirk Cousins type we had to go through.
All right. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. Back at it tomorrow on the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
Another exciting week of basketball for the Ospreys of North Florida, both at home and on the road. The men's basketball team started off the week on Thursday at home with a 115-83 win over Warner. It was a huge night for Ospreys freshman Josh Harris, who dropped 26 on 11 of 14 shooting to go along with his 14 boards in 27 minutes. Then on Saturday, the Ospreys traveled to Statesboro to take on Georgia Southern. UNF found themselves down 17 in the second half, but came storming back to force overtime. Unfortunately, the Ospreys couldn't complete the full comeback as they fall 93-91. Both the men and the women are back at UNF Arena this week as the men take on UNC Greensboro and the women take on UNC Asheville. Both games are on Saturday. And remember, you can find schedules, results, tickets, and more at UNFospreys.com.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
New to town or always been in town? Everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza. Some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're going to love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us. And at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations, Donato's Pizza,